right, Cop Talk Live, changing cop culture. I'm Dominic Izzo. I'm a former cop from the northwest suburbs of Chicago here. And this is Cop Talk Live. We do this live every Wednesday night. Normally it's me reviewing body camera footage, use of force issues, stuff like that. And the phones are always open. I take your guys' calls tonight. But I got a different format tonight. We're going to go a different route, funner route. I got a guest on hanging out with me today. And we're just going to have, why am I frozen? It's Mercury. I think we're coming into Mercury Retrograde. So for those of you who do not believe what Mercury Retrograde is, watch your electronics. Go ape shit over the next couple of weeks, and you'll figure it out for yourself. Matt Lyons tonight. Officer Matt Lyons joins me tonight. We're having a conversation. He and I are catching up. We haven't talked in quite a while, and you guys are just going to be observers on this. So number one, Matt, thanks for joining, dude. I appreciate you hanging out.
What's up, man? Thanks for having me on.
Sorry to blow you off earlier today. I had some things I had to take care of.
Sometimes you can be a jackass, but that's okay.
This is true. This is true. Let's get right into this. You are a current active police officer in the northwest suburbs of Chicago. You started in 2014, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 2014.
Yeah. 2014.
You cut your teeth in an area that was, you know what? Let you describe the area you worked at. What was your first department like that you worked at? Your first introduction coming into law enforcement. Now you're military, Army. Yes. You came from that. Yeah. You went into law enforcement. Talk about your experience with the first agency as far as call volume, calls that you went through, the kind of experience you went through. Because remember, for the most part, people only think that the only agencies of police ever are Chicago Police, NYPD, and LAPD. So you were a suburb cop. What was it like when you first got on?
I was a suburb cop, northwestern Lake County, which is up north of Chicago. Cut my teeth with Round Lake Park, which seems to be a very frequented conversation on your your stuff.
Can't imagine why.
You and I started. Well, you started with the park, I think, like a month or so before
December
I got out of the academy or something like that.
December 2013.
So we got hired right around the same time, but you lateraled in. I came in as a new hire in 2014. Got through the academy, got to field training, and like you mentioned, like everybody just thinks New York, Chicago, LA, and like those are the big agencies, and then suburban cops don't see shit, right? That's somewhat true depending on where you're at. Where we were at in Round Lake Park, in that Round Lake area, it was domestics, it was drugs, it was gangs, it was shootings. The first month of field training was just stacks and stacks and stacks of felony arrests for guns and dope and gang stuff. It was crazy.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you trying to say that? Because it's been part of I have an intention. You know, I get shit on all the time going, you have no real experience at police work. And I'm not, it bothers me not because I know what we did, but the current guys who are still up there in that area, my trolls shit on all of these people who are doing this work. So it's nice to hear from somebody else. We fucking humped, and smaller agencies tend to.
Yeah, I mean, dude, the call line we had my first year there. I mean, looking at where I'm at now in 11 years into my career, and I can Monday morning quarterback just as much as you can on body cam and why people shouldn't be on a TAC team. 2 years on, the search warrants and stuff I was on my first year on. Yeah, I'm an infantry guy. I've kicked doors. I've been deployed. I've seen all that stuff. So I feel like that pushed me in the right direction, where you guys allowed me to be on search warrants and stuff with you guys, because I understood that stuff. But man, that was like drinking out of a fire hose my first year and a half, 2 years, especially like with you and the issues that you and I had that first 6 months. It was that was a lot of experience. And like, when people don't think that suburban agencies hump calls, or rural agencies don't start humping calls and go, you know, thing to thing to thing to thing to thing, and see something violent to, helping somebody's grandma, like, yeah, it's that area was, man, it was hot.
I want to know what your mindset is like, because you and I didn't get along at all. We first started
Oh,
working
God.
together, and
We hated each other.
it was, well, we had a poison coworker who was feeding us bullshit information about each other, but we did not get along. And I tell the story, I'm going to expose you for a second. I tell the story about, there was a new guy that I worked with who, we were at lunch. It was you, me. I don't remember if the guy that I'm talking about was there. I remember Darren, the evidence guy, was there. And we were all in the conference room, and it was on day shift. So I don't remember who you were with, but you're like, man, I can't wait to get my first fight. And I was like, the fuck is wrong with you? Years later, so here you are, a new cop, and you come in and you make that statement. It's been over a decade later. What is your mindset like coming in all piss and vinegar? We went hands on all the time in the town. What's your mindset like now, a decade later, as a very seasoned cop? And you've done a lot of shit, detective, a firearm range master, all of this. Where's your mindset now when it comes down to, use of force and piss and vinegar?
So it's funny you brought up use of force, because I think that's going to be a topic that we're going to end up talking about pretty deeply tonight, I hope. Man, being that new cop, piss and vinegar, fuck, I was 29, and I'd done my time in the Army. The Army was like, making me an adrenaline junkie, which is what all cops are. We're all adrenaline junkies. We want to get a hot call, go to hot calls and all that shit. But, man, just over a decade later, being a field training officer, being a firearms instructor, being a use of force instructor, DT instructor, it's different. And like, I just trained a new kid, and we had this conversation. I'm like, dude, you're gonna get into your first fight. Don't be looking for it, and don't be blabbing your mouth about it. Because I got humbled really, really quick by you, by another guy that we worked with. Just, hey, dude, you need to shut the fuck up. Like, that's not something you need to be voicing openly. If you want to get into the fight, you want to be there, it'll come. Your day will come. And the ultimate day came for me, November 15th of 2023.
Yeah, I want to get into that. Yeah.
But, I mean, as a new cop, it'll come to you, whether it's day one, whether it's 10 years on, whether it's 3 days before retirement, the day of retirement, whatever, your day will come, and you will be checked. So as a new guy, don't come out there and start running your fucking mouth saying, man, let's get into a fight. Let's go get it. Let's have it happen. Your day will come. But as a new cop, you don't know what the fuck you're doing. Honestly.
What was the brotherhood like? What was your experiences in totality? What was I like to work with? What was I like as a cop? And what did you absorb to become, to mold? You had to mold yourself after people, and we did. We worked with one great guy you work with him still, and such a fucking class act human being. I'll tell you, Tony Colon, such a class act human being. And we got hoodwinked by a bunch of others, but what was it like to develop, with all the influences that you were around all the time?
So I'm gonna start, like, dude, I got close to the two other guys I got hired with, and went to the academy with, just as co-workers and academy mates. Like, we weren't go out drinking or anything like that. We never got a drink together, actually. But we got close and stayed together like that from the academy. I don't talk to any of them anymore. Or I haven't in a long, long time. But I remember getting through most of the academy, and we were doing traffic stop stuff just to learn basic traffic stop culture stuff. And I remember there was a Highland Park cop came up, and he goes, "Who the fuck's driving the Round Lake Park squad?" And me. He's like, get the fuck out of your PD. Your chief's a fucking nutbag.
Yeah.
And I was like, all right, whatever, dude. Like, I don't know what the fuck. Like, I'm a new cop. I'm just gonna keep my mouth fucking shut. I've been testing for 4 years in the middle of the recession. Couldn't get fucking hired anywhere because the 800 to 1,000 people testing per department, testing every fucking weekend. It sucks, man. Like, so I was like, fuck it. I'm just gonna keep my mouth shut, keep my head down, and just drive on. Got through the academy, graduated the academy. Day like 1 or 2, we're doing admin before we roll out for field training stuff. And the chief came through and literally said, you will not be friends with anybody here. You will not drink with them after shift. You will not have a barbecue with them. You won't do shit with them. You come to work, you do your job, and you get the fuck out. And that's it. Don't do that. Then field training started, and you talked about Tony Colon. Man, he's like a brother to me. He's helped me out so much with my career. First field training officer, dude, you mold so close to whoever your first FTO is. Like, that's so true. As long as you get a good FTO, you mold to what that person's like. Man, right out the bat, like we clicked, we connected, which is why we're great friends now. And I still work with him today. He's one of my sergeants right now. And it's great. Then you, the first time I met you, I was in that conference room kitchen area. And that was shortly after we had that talking to of you won't be friends with anybody here. Right. And you came in and you were this jacked, lean, white haired, goateed, untatted at the time.
Yeah.
Aggressive cop. And you just looked at all of us and were just like, God, you guys are going to fucking fail and suck. Dude, that's how you came off. And then, that snake that, was fucking feeding shit information. You and I just went oil and water. I do remember being in that kitchen and I was ready to fucking throw off all my gear and just fucking scrap. Fuck your Wing Chun, bring on my fucking kickboxing jiu-jitsu. I don't give a fuck. One of us is going to walk out bloody and beaten. The other one's going to be knocked the fuck out. But that sparked us to actually talk and figure that shit out. And well, dude, I wasn't fucking saying shit. Well, I wasn't saying shit. So, well, who the fuck was? And we figured that out. And yeah. But yeah, working with you, dude, I hear people all the time, Izzo's controversial. He's a fucking prick. Fuck him. He's a piece of shit. I'm like, I've worked with him as a cop. I literally have worked with this man as a cop, and he is fucking smart. He knows his shit. He's fit. His Wing Chun fucking blew me the fuck away. I remember that dude that jumped out on me, you, and Lepe out of the passenger side door, and you just were like, and the dude was on the fucking ground. I was like, what the fuck just happened? 25 years of judo, kickboxing, all this shit, and you just fucking poof, and dude's on the fucking ground. Yeah, you and I think, dude, we had an interesting relationship. Because we had slightly different views on use of force, which was great. I'm all for that. If you have a different view and it still works within the spectrum of what we're doing, and you can describe something slightly different and it clicks for somebody so they understand it, I'm all about that, right? But man, that 1 year, what was it, 2015, 2016, you and I went back and forth on the DUIs.
Oh, we had a competition. Who can get the most DUIs? We were both on midnights on opposite shifts. We worked 3 on, 3 off. On my 3 off, you were on. And yeah, it started, it was right before the body camera stuff. So it was 2015, January 1st of 2015. We started a DUI competition and we finished dead even.
No, you beat me by one.
I had 40.
I had 39.
Oh,
You beat me by one. I was
okay.
so fucking pissed. But yeah, it was like that was like the end of your 3 day rotation, waking up and like just seeing the text messages, haha, fucker, I got 2 this weekend, or I got 3, and I was like, fuck you, I'm gonna get 3 or 4.
And
But
they were all righteous. Neither one of us
oh yes.
had any contested DUI. It was just, they were the way that we wrote our reports, which were completely factual, honest. I had never, all of my DUIs, I don't know how you were, but with the village attorney at the time, they all got the here's what we have. Okay, we'll plead. I never went to court on
All
any of
were
them.
pleas. I had one go to a summary suspension hearing, and of that, the judge found me in the right and screwed him. And then that was to get him out of his 4th or 5th DUI. That was going to be felony time that he was going to serve on it. And they lost that summary suspension hearing. Other than that, everything got pled. Because they were all righteous DUIs. Like none of us you and I would not sit in front of the 2 or 3 bars that we had in town. We wouldn't poach the DUIs. They were all found moving on the road, stuff like that. Like I know a bunch of guys that will sit in front of the bars and just wait for cars to leave and then just knock them down. And it's like, guys, like there's more than that out there. You can find a DUI on day shift more times than you can on midnights. But yeah, like we went back and forth on that. That was a fun year to have a good friendly competition and rivalry.
DUIs are something I have zero problem stringing anybody up on. My last DUI that I wrote in November of late October, early November of 2015 was a cop. I didn't give a shit. Wrote that. It was a McHenry.
Yes,
cop.
he was, and he went ahead on with me and almost hit me.
That's something with the public. We were in a town where the demographic was hillbilly-ish white, if you will.
About 10 or 15%.
Lot of Hispanic, and
50
then
to 60% Hispanic.
Yeah, black from either from Milwaukee or Chicago. A lot of people you guys don't get we got the demographic. The last time before you and I were partners, Joey and I would go to house parties where you'd have 200 people, all from Zion, North Chicago, Waukegan. It's like, oh, geez. What was it like coming into an area where you made more than the average citizen who lived there? You weren't in the environment. We know what the houses looked like that we went to. It was poor, a lot of trash, a lot of disheveled homes, a lot of broken homes. What was that like for your mindset to serve people like that? Because I had been in the area for years. So when I came back and I was working, I treated people with the utmost fairness possible. What was it like for you to go back into that? Did you look down on those people? How did you interact with them? What was your learning experience like with that type of service to that type of community?
So, again, let's go back to new cop not making those statements about let's get into the fight, right? But the new cop coming in there, the community was like, I came from, I guess you could say, a middle upper class white family, right? Good grades through high school. Not college wasn't my thing, which is why I went in the military. Seen third world, right? Literally been there, seen it disheveled, blown to pieces. I hate to say it, but like where we worked was not far off from third world shit. And I came in as that aggressive, proactive new cop. And man, I was fucking hammering everybody on tickets. You get a ticket, you get a ticket, you get a ticket, no warnings. Fuck it. Everybody gets a ticket. Until one day you pulled me aside and were like, what the fuck are you doing? And I was like, what are you talking about, dude? He goes, you know, you just pulled over a abuela over there and she's literally struggling to go to the grocery store that you just took all that money away from her, writing her a speeding ticket or writing her whatever other ticket. Um, why don't you use some judgment and play in that gray area we have as a cop and understand where people are coming from the community. Are they the gangbanger? Are they the ones dealing the drugs, shooting people, or are they just trying to survive and trying to get by day? That clicked for me. And now it's like, no, you get a warning, slow down, or fix this on your car, or how can I help you, on a service call, versus how am I going to go fucking put handcuffs on somebody? So yeah, serving that community was different, because you'd have to switch real quick from like this customer service, I'm going to help you with a civil matter, to fuck you, you're a gangbanger, pull your fucking pants up, stop having the fucking gangbanging parties and dealing the dope on the corner, stop, throwing beer bottles, stop all the other shit, fuck all the gang rape shit that we had to go to and all that other crap. Again, you guys think small town departments don't have to deal with this bullshit. You're out of your fucking mind. They do. So, especially out in the Chicago suburbs, I mean, you've got little Chicago with Milwaukee, and you've got Chicago and everything in between. And trust me, everything in between there, fucking, they see shit. But yeah, that was eye opening for me.
What was it like having the pressure cooker of how you had the people on the street were dealing with you and command staff? Because we had a lot of freedom. The Round Lake Park was the most amount of freedom I've ever had as a cop. And we were, I mean, what we would do. We would snatch people up for one arrest, and then that would lead all the way up to doing warrant raids. And we had a ton of freedom. We were such a small department. We did everything. It wasn't like you had a big team for whatever. But also, that was leveraged against us. And you started to see that later in your career, very early in your career, first couple of years. What was it like with now the pressures of command staff? And then how did that mold you as a police officer? Because you got seasoned quick. When I went to the academy in 2001, my first chief, Ed Sindels, came down, and it was myself and Craig. He's now in the DEA. He left the second year on the DEA. And Sindels told us at the academy, he goes, congratulations, you're going to do more in your first 6 months than most cop will do in 10 years. So I'm like, what? And true. So in your first 6 months, you got more than most suburban towns do in their first 10 years. But you also got that exposure to a command staff that was insane. How did that shape your career?
That was, okay, so command staff was interesting because the chief, which I'm sure we'll get more into, and you have spoken, not the current chief, the previous chief, you've spoken a lot about openly. And I do not disagree with any of your opinions on that.
Let me ask you a question. You don't agree with me on everything. And you and I, we haven't spoken in a long time. And we actually spoke for the first time a couple of weeks ago, probably in almost 10 years. It's probably been about 8 years since we've spoken. You've seen my stuff. You've heard people criticize me. I have never heard it come back from you. You've talked shit about me. Have I lied about anything I talk about?
No. Now, again, shit you say I think is controversial and I don't agree with. But it's your opinion. You're allowed to have your opinion. The factual shit that you've talked about the command staff at that department, about the shit show that it was, when we were there, factual. There's not one made up thing that you've said. Like it's facts. It's not bullshit. And I've seen the body cam videos. I've been a part of the body cam videos. I remember specifically the fucking phone call you gave me saying like, "Hey, bro, just so you're aware, these 3 videos of what I've seen so far in your file on this does X, Y, and Z, X, Y, and Z, and X, Y, and Z." And I was like, "You've got to be fucking kidding me." 2 of them involved my cell phone, my personal cell phone, and you gave me password to a bank account. And you gave me a word for word text message with my wife that I just wrote back and found. Like no fucking joke. So the shit that you say is true and accurate and has never faltered. So
you were there the day I was fired, where I sat there.
Yes, I watched you walk out and without your vest on, without your duty belt on, which was your personally owned shit that they took. I was like, "Where the fuck is your shit at?" And you're like, "I can't talk to you and I gotta go." You know, we really didn't talk other than a couple text messages here and there since then.
Yeah. Yeah. How did that affect you as a cop in that area? Now you come from military, so you've already got chain of command. You're now going into the law enforcement world. Was chain of command a joke to you? What you saw?
Man. Chain of command from like we can't talk about military now because the military now is fucking soft. And I'm sorry if I'm fucking hurting somebody's fucking feelings in the Army or the Marine Corps or whatever the fuck it is now, the Navy, Air Force, Space Force. God, I'm sorry, but this military is fucking soft from what I went into, from what my dad did back in Vietnam had changed from then to when I was in to now. I mean, it's this generation's fucking soft as shit. But yeah, dude, command staff was something driven into our head, man. Like you don't disrespect the sergeant, you don't disrespect your team leader, you don't disrespect the squad leader. You know, the lieutenant's usually fresh out of fucking college and doesn't know up and down where his dick is or anything like that. But you still respect the man because you're in the rank. You don't have to respect the person. And I think a lot of people forget that when it comes to law enforcement. Man, fuck this chief and fuck no. Respect the rank because that person's earned the rank. They've earned sergeant stripes, they've earned commander, lieutenant, whatever for the size of their agency, or however their agency's command structure is, DC, chief, whatever. They've earned that rank. I will respect that rank. I have never stopped calling anybody sir when it comes to rank, right? If you were my sergeant and you had stripes over me and you told me, "Yes, sir," I could fucking hate you until I'm blue in the fucking face. "Yes, sir." "Chief," "Yes, sir." "Dude, stop calling me sir." "Okay, sir." Like, I'm sorry. That's been drilled in my head since I was a kid. My dad was a drill and like, dude, that's been part of my culture forever. How it is now in law enforcement and when I started, man, there were some people that you would give the rank to and you know, you'd be like, okay, our deputy chief at the time.
Yes.
I respect that man. I
will say this flat out. The current chief of Round Lake Park, at the time, I adored that man. That man, I had known him when I worked in the town before. You know, we were kind of hard on he was a couple of years a senior to me, but he's who we wanted as chief. He's who we respected. He's who we sat there and we emulated to be like. I was very disappointed by the outcome, but that man was extremely important to me at the time. Yeah.
Yeah. I still respect him. I know you guys have a different different points of view. I still respect the man. He's never done anything wrong. To me, we've had our ups and downs and some pushback and stuff like that. As it should be when it comes to rank and file. Like, you're going to get some pushback. Like, I disagree with your decision here, sir. I went toe to toe with him in an office. Believe you got suspended for it, and caught a day. But that fight at Round Lake High School,
Yeah.
And I was a detective at the time, and I went
Because
code.
I didn't key up over the radio and say I was there, but the idiot transferee from Chicago goes flying over there with a juvenile unsecure in the back of his squad car, and nothing fucking happens to him.
Yeah, he got a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
I think you got a suspension, and I got a formal write-up, because I didn't call out where I was going, and I was like, it's already in the fucking CAD system. Mm-hmm. I'm going to the fucking school to drop this kid off who was involved in a residential burglary before school even fucking happened, and I'm closing the case on 5 Resbergs and fucking 2 home invasions with another fucking suspect.
That's the route I'm looking. That's what I'm looking to get from you without leading you there. We went to the exact same call. For people who are wondering, Round Lake High School had a call out during the day, and all we got was a school resource officer call up and goes, send more units. And we all went flying there. Round Lake Beach showed up. We showed up. By the time we got there, there was probably 8 of us on scene, and the fight had just stopped. It was cafeteria. I did not key up to call location. It was only a mile and a half from where we were, and then I went back in town. A week later, both of us get disciplined. It's the same thing. But I got heavier discipline. You didn't, and you did the exact same thing. Talk about how people don't understand, and I've been trying to explain this for years, how command staff will needle you to death. Command staff is more dangerous than the people you deal with on the street. But specifically, you brought it up. We did the exact same fucking thing. I was punished more than you were.
Dude, yeah. So again, 3 of us were in town on that call. I was the detective at the time. Closing out. I had 2 suspects in custody. One was a juvenile that we were releasing back to the high school. And the other one was already sitting in a jail cell, at our dispatch center where we would hold people. And that closed 5 residential burglaries and 2 home invasions. Right. And the guy did 5 or 6 years. Thank you, Illinois IDOC. And then good time. He got the fuck out, whatever. But so, yeah, you didn't key up and you went and dealt with it. I had already gone over the air before this call even came out and said that myself and the other officer were transporting this juvenile back to, the high school so he could continue his day of school. This kid wasn't going to get charged, or we were just going to do a referral or some shit on it, and send it to the juvenile system. But I had an unmarked Escalade without a cage in it, couldn't put anybody secured in my car. So I had a uniformed guy drive him to the high school, and I was going to go there and just walk him into the school. Right. Again, policy, I'm not putting somebody in my car, especially an uncaged car, that's not like you, right? I'm done. My partner, yeah, I don't give a shit. My partner can be anywhere he wants in that fucking car. But somebody who's a suspect in a crime, a juvenile, whatever, you're in a secured area in that car and seatbelted. So I'm driving, and I have the uniformed guy behind me in a marked squad car, and I'm pulling up to 134 and Cedar Lake Road. So this is the Round Lake area for everybody else that's listening. You guys pull it up on fucking Google Maps. And I sit at the intersection and I watch like all of Round Lake PD's squads come fucking ripping through. Watched all of them, right? And I'm not going code, and I've already called out to dispatch. I'm going to Round Lake High School, drop this fucking kid off. So it's on my computer screen, my address where I'm transporting the kid and everything. and watch them all fly by. As soon as they go by, I'm like, you know what? Fuck it. It's 3 blocks from where I'm at. Literally three and a half blocks from where I'm at. I hit my lights and I go. And I look in my rearview mirror and I see the marked squad car with the kid in it in the back seat.
Going code.
Just turn the lights and sirens on and go. And I'm like, he's got a fucking juvenile in the back seat.
Yep.
Like, what the fuck? And so I pull up at the school. I hop out. Obviously, we kept the kid in the car until the whole situation was secured. It was like an 80-person fucking cafeteria fight. And I go running into the high school, and one of the Round Lake guys is walking this freaking ginormous man out of the cafeteria, and he hands him to me. He goes, "I need you to detain him outside until we get this all squared the fuck away." I'm like, all right, cool. Out we go. Detain the guy. They finished up everything. This dude ended up being like a 25-year-old gangster disciple that came in there to start shit, fight, because his brother was called a funny name or some bullshit. Started this whole fucking fight, whatever. So I did just detain the dude, right? And as soon as everything was cleared up, I walked that kid into school, said, "Have a nice day. Get the fuck out of my custody." And on he went. 2 weeks later, whatever it was, I remember that other officer getting called in, you getting called in, and me getting called in. And I was like, again, I have nightmares of getting called down to the chief's office still to this day. And where I'm at now, I have a chief that's fucking phenomenal. I love the man, honor the man, respect him heavily. And I'm in his office all the time talking to him, all the time, with what I do currently with my job. But man, like, they have fear of getting called down. It's like, what did you do? Oh, fuck, what did I do? Like, that just, it's ice running down your spine, like the chills that you get. It's still ingrained in me. But yeah, we walked in there, and don't do that again with the juvenile in the back seat of the car. Formal write-up for you, and then suspended for Izzo. I was like, for what? For a cop saying broken arrows, send me everybody, and it's garbled transmission and his emergency button gets hit. I'm sorry. I looked at the deputy chief at the time, because he was the one that handed down the discipline to you and I. And I looked at him, and he goes, "You have to sign this." I go, "I have to fucking sign this thing? Seriously, sir? Like, I respect you, sir, but I have to fucking sign this thing? Are you fucking serious?" He's like, "Yeah." I go, "Okay, I have a quick question for you, sir. All due respect. Can I speak freely, sir?" Yeah. What the fuck would you have done? You got a cop calling fucking broken arrow. I have an 80 fucking person fight, and you're the only person in the middle of an 80 person fucking fight. What would you do? I would have gone. Now, why the fuck am I signing this?
They were in the
I
middle.
would do the same fucking thing over again.
Yeah, they were in the middle of, and that was right when we had the body camera lawsuit, and they were looking for anything to get rid of us.
Dude, yeah.
That day, that I remember looking right at him, and I said, "What happens if I don't sign this?" And he didn't answer me. He walked out.
Nothing. Nothing. It just goes in your personnel file, and you got a day suspension for that bullshit. Yeah. Okay, cool. I'll take my fucking vacation day, because fuck, where we were, dude, there was no vacation days. You fucking were working 10, 12, 13 days in a row and maybe got a day off. We were working fucking so short and all that other bullshit.
You touched on something, and that's the whole setup, right? I want people to hear. People who aren't cops are like, "Oh, that's kind of petty. What are you complaining about?" You talked about the fear when my first midnight partner before you, who had been on with the department for 20 years, used to tell me he pulls over on the side of the road and he throws up every day before he comes to work. And I go, "You're out of your mind." Well, we went through what we went through. And, I'll never forget where I was. I was laying in bed New Year's Eve, going into New Year's Day from 2015 to 2016. And this was before we found out about the cameras. And because I came off of midnights, no longer doing DUIs, creating revenue for the city, I remember you were on shift that night, and I said, "What squad did they assign me?" And you go, 574. And they took me out of the brand new Tahoe, that I had gotten, and they put me in the shit box in Paula because for punishment. And I remember the person I was dating at the time, I'm like, she's like, why are you so upset about this? It's just a car. Like, you don't get it. You don't get it.
Oh, God. That car, 200,000 miles, hot box, hot lap, nothing worked. You had to fucking Fred Flintstone the shit out of that fucking car.
Talk about the psychology of what command staff does to cops, because where I'm going with this is you went through something extremely traumatic not too long ago, but and thank God you experienced command staff betrayal, command staff discipline, because I think if what you had gone through, what you just went through, you would have been completely heartbroken. I wonder if you went through this petty bullshit the public will never understand what it's. So what? You got a day suspension. So what? You got a squad car for shit. So what? This. Talk about what it does to the mental health of cops and how that shaped you even more in your career.
Oh, man. So, again, let's go back to the beginning, right? That new cop, that proactive cop. You were assigned one of the nicest squad cars, always. Always. The new cop, proactive, started out, first accident in the first 30-something days on the road. Minor. For me, minor. For the car I hit, I totaled. Fully admit it, they put me in a shit car. But as we got more proactive and did more things for them and made them look good, and by making them look good, it wasn't just like, oh, I got 3 grams of weed here, and like the where I live now put out stats for their top cops for 2024. 3 grams of cocaine, 17 grams of weed, and 40 DUIs. I'm sorry. You have 100 fucking person department that's like 30 fucking square miles. You and I would be like 150 pounds of weed apiece. I don't know, a couple kilos of cocaine that we seize for a 1.5 square mile town. Like, you can literally spit the distance of the town and be through it. I'm sorry, but like, that's what I get in where I live now. And I'll tell you what, there's more of that shit all over this town that I don't.
Well, you remember when NBC came out in 2014 with Round Lake Park is the safest place
safest in the community because they took
in the state of Illinois to live in.
And they took what's the name of that fucking community? What's that old folks community?
Saddlebrook Farms.
Saddlebrook, yeah. I mean, they only took the stats from Saddlebrook. They never fucking took any of our stats from the north side of town. That, yeah, dude, yeah. But back to command staff, like they would give you things for doing good work for them. But on the flip side of it, it would be, thank you for doing this. Now, where the fuck is the next one? And you'd be like, I haven't even fucking finished the paper on this one. Like, what the fuck? And you and I are both not these guys for the chest candy and the awards and all this other shit. Like, I don't want life-saving awards. I don't want to be in the fucking paper. That's just not me as a cop. But can I just get a small little attaboy, you did a good job, and get a breather? Let me take a breath and reset. A little bit of that woosah from Bad Boys 2, right? And then we get back at, no, where's the next one? Give me the next one. Make me look good. And that's what a lot of it was. And then if you didn't, oh my God, the crucifixion that came was fucking devastating. Unless you had the buffer of a good command staff, whether it be a sergeant or a commander, somebody in between to take away some of that cushion.
Well, they made sure they took him away.
Yeah,
what was
they
it
took
like?
him away.
What was it
And-
like where you'd come in one day and you'd have a righteous arrest for that week? Your first 3 on, be great. You have a couple of days off. You come back for 3 on again. And all of a sudden, number 1 or number 2 would walk through the hall and they wouldn't even look at you. They wouldn't even talk to you.
So let's fast forward 2016 with the body cams, right? Because everybody's fucking heard your talks on the body cams. Yes, I was part of this bullshit. I was there. I saw this shit firsthand. I saw how this all played out and how devastating the morale just tanked. Productivity went through the shitter. And as soon as you dropped and got the entire fucking department except for, what is it?
One
2
person.
people?
One person.
One person. And then the other 2 dropped out.
Why did they drop out? We started with 13 of us. Why did it
Fear.
end up?
Fear.
What would they have to be afraid of?
So we all jumped in on this lawsuit because fuck, it was right. Like you set these things up to fucking record us. Especially the information that we were told. Just so everybody's aware, like the shit he says about this stuff, you would undock those body cams for the start of shift and they'd all be fucking charged 100%. You put that fucker on in the second you pull it out of the dock, 7 minute, 1 second, 7 minute, 1 second, 7 minute, 1 second videos. But then we turn on the camera for like 4 incidents for the entire fucking shift and you dock it and that's all it would fucking dock with. And it would never tell you about those 7 minute, 1 second videos that were just on repeat. Bathrooms, fucking text messages, you checking your bank account to see if you got fucking paid. Yes, we worked in a town that was fucking hurting for money and they fucking weren't paying the pensions that they were supposed to pay into and all this other shit just to pay us and keep the village afloat so we didn't go to county for police services and all this other shit. And so yeah, you'd be checking your bank account. Like I said earlier, hey bro, your password's this and your login's this for your account, for your bank. I'm like, how the fuck? He goes, dude, it's on your fucking body cam. And they've got it on fucking recording, and going through all that shit. And the second that lawsuit dropped on them, right? I was in my detective office and I was fucking going over reports from the weekend or whatever the fuck it was. And I remember the chief walking by and he just made this fucking stink, dude. Like purposely doing it to the records person, like just talking to her, but making it loud and boisterous so everybody else would hear it, but nobody else was there to hear it. No motherfuckers going into fucking the what is now SIG, which is the Special Investigations Group for Lake County, which was before the Gang Task Force. Nobody's going into the Major Crimes Task Force. Nobody's going into the NIPA spots. Nobody's doing any of this fucking shit. And we'll just pay the fucking monthly bills for all of them just so we keep our spots and we get access to what they're doing to give us people for. But nobody's getting a specialty. Nobody's fucking doing shit. Fuck them. And then he walks by and he grabs my door handle and slams my fucking door. I was like, all right, cool, right? And I just went on with my shit and I was like, you know what? This is probably gonna be like one of the last times I'm gonna be in this office, right? You're not getting training. So like there's stuff that as a brand new detective, you have to go to training for. You have to go to training for interview schools. You have to go to lead homicide investigator. Like there's mandated stuff by the state that you have to go to within your first year. You're not going to fucking shit. I guess I'm not going to shit. Like, fuck it. I'm not going to any. I'm not going to go to ET school. I'm not going to go to the interview school. I'm not going to go to lead homicide investigator, which are requirements to be a detective. Like, you have to do that shit. And just, they wouldn't let us do it. So, and then I remember the the shitstorm that came down on the deputy chief from the chief. And I came in, I was covering day shift while still in investigations. And I came in dressed down, you know, polo, khakis, you know, no tack belts, no, you know, you'd wear the armor, but you know, only when you're out on the road responding to a call or whatever. In the office, you took your shit off and you're just, you know, you're dressed down. You know, business casual for what it should be. And I remember it was like 5:30 in the morning. I was like, why the fuck is DC in? And he's just like, he walks into my office. He goes, where the fuck is your uniform? But what are you talking about, sir? Like, just snap me right up. And he's like, hey, you gotta be in fucking uniform. Where the fuck's your uniform? And I'm like, man, like, Birch has never talked to me like this. Like, the fuck crawled up his ass? He's like, get in your fucking uniform now. I'm like, thank God I had a fucking spare uniform in my locker. Went and changed into a uniform. That was the last day I was in that office. Yeah. Never fucking went back. They went and changed the locks on me. All this shit.
People don't understand how people don't understand. You're a grown man. You're married. You know, you're military, all this, and you're treated like this. You're going to be able to finish my sentence. You had a kidnapping. It was summer. We're working a kidnapping. A dad kidnaps his daughter from a mom.
Yep.
It was so petty. I want to see if you remember what happened or what didn't happen. If a high priority call like that comes out, what was your response? What were you supposed to do?
Oh God. As a detective or just as a patrol cop?
Either or. Well, they took OIC away from me. They gave it to you. So you're OIC, you're detective, you've got a kidnapping. Do you remember what happened that day or what didn't happen that day?
Dude, you're going to have to refresh.
Are you supposed to notify somebody when something happens?
Yeah. Who
are you supposed to notify?
Our policy was to notify chain of command. So for where we were at, it would be a commander. If the commander didn't answer, it'd be the deputy chief. If the deputy chief didn't answer, it'd be the chief.
Did anybody answer? Did anybody answer you that day?
None. Not one.
Kidnapping. And that man was glued to his phone 24/7, and you called, and he can see all the cases you're on. So he can see from your phone exactly what you're on, and he purposely didn't answer the phone when you called and needed him.
Yep. And, you know, if I remember correctly, you and I both needed resources. We needed more people in. And we didn't get shit. You know, all right, well, you know, I've made the notifications. I can only call you so many times. If you're not going to fucking pick up, you're not going to pick up. And it wasn't just hey, I'm going to call the commander. Oh, the commander didn't pick up. I'm going to call the next person. No, I'm going to call the commander a couple fucking times. Right? Well, commander's not picking up. I called him 5 times. I'm going to call DC. I called him 5 times. He didn't fucking pick up the phone. Like, maybe you'd see that's kind of a fucking priority that your detective or your OIC, the officer in charge, for people that don't know the acronyms that were thrown out. Yeah, it's like, then step it up to the chief. And, you know,
I'll never forget how frustrated we were that day that here we are. We're expected to do a job. We're grown men. You know, you're 29. I'm fucking 43 at the time. You're 31 at the time. I was 43. Yeah, 31. And it's like, here we are, and we're being punished. We can't do our jobs because we were victims of a crime that never was taken care of. The stress level that we dealt with during that time was insane. I was getting the diarrhea, severe diarrhea, every fucking day when I turned from Fairfield Road onto 120. And Joey was not making this up. It was so horrible that you got baptized into that very early on in your career. Go ahead.
Joey wasn't wrong at all with the diarrhea, the vomiting, the nausea, the migraines that you would get from dealing with that shit. Like, as soon as that shit started happening, and I got pulled from handling investigative calls to just working the road, and I ended up working the road with you. We were on days, and we wouldn't be doing the productive stuff we were used to doing, like making all the stops and
No, I had one.
contact with all
I
the
had
game
one
bangers.
traffic stop in 9 months. I had one. I was so. We used to hide on
Yep.
Haynesville Road. I had one traffic stop in 9 fucking months because I was so done.
And so everybody gets a clear picture, we would go 6 to 10 stops at a minimum on average a shift, upwards of 20 if it was a weekend, if we were really hunting DUIs or whatever it was. And like we were, unless there was a call, we were on a traffic stop, or we were backing each other on traffic stops, or we were processing somebody in a jail cell too. Oh man, like I'm just gonna go look and say, oh, here's your warning for tall grass, here's your warning for this, here's your warning for that, because they had this quota system that was still not considered a quota.
Oh, did they have a quota system?
Oh,
Why did they have why did they create a quota system? What was that all about?
The points, because they would say that Segretti,
Another cop? What
would not do his job. Rest. Go.
Before you continue, the amount of people who have said I fucking lie about a quota system, which was a performance evaluation system being created. I've been accused of being a liar for years about this. So describe what this was. It a point system? What was it like? And why was it created?
So by Illinois definition, it is not a quota system. But by performance review, it's a quota system, right? It meets the definition of a quota. Now, when I say it doesn't meet the statute for what Illinois describes in their compiled statutes as meeting a quota for Illinois, except for traffic grants, is required to have a citation written, right? So I cannot be told to go write X amount of citations a shift. That is Illinois' definition of a quota. But to describe this performance evaluation, it was a point system. And you had to average, and I could be totally fucking wrong on the averages of the system. I think it was like 27 points on average per shift for the month. And if you didn't meet that, you got a fucking nasty little write-up in your file, which I got, dude. Like I had a month where I wasn't doing shit, and I missed it by like 1.5 or 2 points average or some shit. And he wrote it up a fucking thing in there. I was like, whatever, dude. Like, I don't give a fuck. Like, if that's what you're gonna ding me for it. But it would be like, okay, the point system would be a service call was 2 points, a traffic stop was 2 points, a local ordinance arrest was 3 points, a misdemeanor arrest was 5 points, a felony arrest was 7 points. Now, when we say arrest, that is a citation issued, right? So if you wrote 5 misdemeanor citations, that was 5 points per citation, not per arrest. The arrest counted as per citation, right? So you would catch a felony case and you'd have 6 felonies written for unlawful possession of weapon, ammo, no FOID, felon with a gun, all this other shit, right? So you'd have 6 or 7 citations there. You'd get 7 points per citation issued, plus your traffic stop, plus any of your misdemeanor tickets, which include your petty offense tickets for like a speeder, all that shit. And that would all add up, and you'd average that out. Dude, there were shifts I was pulling 150 fucking points a shift. You get points for towing a car, points for writing a report, points for assisting another agency, points for parking tickets, points for warnings, points for every little bullshit thing you can think of, other than taking a lunch and taking a shit. But So they did this because one of the guys on Midnights was known to be the lazy guy, 20 years on, ending his career, retired on duty, which, man, that motherfucker was not retired on duty. Scrawny little shit.
He came from Chicago Housing Authority Police.
Yeah.
He was, he detective. He did all this stuff. But again, and
how tall was he? Like 4'8"?
No, he's like 5'5". And
he's not even 5 foot, dude. But
him and
dude,
I worked.
Okay.
Yeah, him.
So I'm picking on the guy's size, right? But when they were saying the dude's retired on duty, you and I would both take this dude in a fight any fucking day.
Oh yeah.
He would be on somebody's back, pulling somebody's ears and hair and fucking grabbing their jaw and trying to pull them down to the fucking ground, just fucking monkeying.
And he had the temperament. He had the temperament to know when not to do it as well too.
Oh my God, dude, the guy was a fucking saint. He'd walk up and be the most cordial person to you until you crossed him. And by crossing him, you had to really push this guy's buttons. Really push those buttons for him to freaking turn the other way and go Mr. Hyde on you and have to use force. And when I say Mr. Hyde, like it's just flipping that switch to where I have to be aggressive now, right? I'm not saying he became this enraged motherfucker. No. We all have to have that Mr. Jekyll, Mr. Hyde switch to flip. You have to play Mr. Nice Guy and be that cordial person. But when you have to step in and be aggressive and use force, you have to be able to flip that switch. And then it pops out, and then you're handling that right then and there.
Did what you went through, because again, this is all setting up for like how you handle stress, everything. People hear it's like there's a lot you're talking about. You're cramming in 3 or 4 years worth of information, in a half hour, 40 minutes. How did that affect you when dealing with people? Because people need to understand, I've said this a million times, the problem in law enforcement is command staff. Because when you go through, you're going to take out on people, or maybe you're not going to take out on people or your family. How did you process the unbelievable stress you dealt with every single day?
So, man,
because I shut down. I did nothing. The last 9 months I was there, I went to days and I was just like, I was gone. I answered calls, nothing proactive. And, I was so fucking emotionally heartbroken for what they did. And you could probably attest to this. I was terrified. There were times I thought I was going to walk into the chief's office and he had no cameras in there. And I thought, I'm going to get shot.
Bullshit, he didn't have fucking cameras in there.
Oh.
We found cameras in there after the fact, yeah.
Yeah, but that was the thing is, if I go in there, there's going to be a shootout, and he's going to be setting me. I literally thought I was going to be killed on duty. That's how stressed out I was about the shit.
So, yeah, fuck. So, dude, everybody handles stress differently. Everybody does. I remember you holding my feet because there was like a PT standard we had to hold.
Yeah, I've got that picture.
Yeah, where I come up and I'm just like, fuck you.
Yeah.
Just throwing a middle finger up, doing some sit-ups or some shit. But I was in shape, not the shape you were in at the time. Because man, you were just some ripped, lean motherfucker. But I was in shape, power lifter, all this shit, and but man, I shut down just like you did. The nausea of feeling violated by your command staff, like somebody did this giant colonoscopy anal probe on you and you just stripped of what you thought was a brotherhood, this blue line that would be there, and it's not there. And you and I both drove a good distance to get to work, to and from. You know, my drive was like 45 minutes, 50 minutes on a decent day. And the second I got off of 53 at Lake Cook, right? And I'm not going to tell people where I live. I'm not going to tell people where I work now. But that area, I get off at Lake Cook Road and to just take my shot up to work, man, I wanted to fucking pull my hair out, uh, puke on the side of the road, had this nausea, this pit in my stomach, all this shit I was going through, and it was rough, man. Like I had just gotten married in 2014 um, to my wonderful wife. We've got 2 kids now, and but we hadn't had our first kid yet, and I had this AIDS exposure for bloodborne shit that came down on a DUI. A guy fucked with his handcuffs, cut up his wrist, went through the whole exposure protocol. It had to go on these antivirals that just, dude, like they turned my skin green and purple and fucking puking, shitting, and the department was like, whatever, just go, just go, just go handle it. Go to occupational health, be a human pincushion for 4 months. Like my wife found out she was pregnant the day after the exposure. And part of going through all that is with the antivirals and not getting support from command staff. The antivirals gave me type 2 diabetes. That's one of the side effects of the antivirals, of the HIV/AIDS antivirals that you have to go through. Is you have a percentage chance to get type 2 diabetes. And I'm now a diabetic because of that. And people can bitch and moan about bad diet and all this other shit. And yes, cops have shit diets on midnights. We have absolutely shit diets on midnights. We have shit diets on day shift, on afternoon shift. It doesn't fucking matter. We have shit diets. But being that human pincushion, the week before, I was just having lunch and then went into occupational health and had a blood draw, and my blood sugar was 92. So between 70 and 120 is the range you want to be for a normal person that has their pancreas working, their body's producing insulin, and it's working all in together, and you're not a diabetic in any way, right? The week before, my wife gets diagnosed with gestational diabetes with our first kid during the pregnancy. And she comes home, she's got the test kit for the finger pricks, and I'm like, give me that shit. Prick my finger, 500. I'm like, what the fuck? Wash my hands, 498. Call the doc, get my appointment. They do a whole bunch of blood work. Yeah, you're full-blown diabetic. Within a week, I go from 92 post-eating, which you should be up, should be high. And then your body's going to taper you back down to 500. And it took me a fucking year at minimum to get my sugars back together. But what I'm getting at is the psychological effects of command staff during that whole thing. Unsupported. We're going through the body cam shit. We're not being supported. We're being fucking cornered over bullshit, right? And I'll get into the bullshit portion of it that gets deeper that I don't think we've ever really talked about. I think this is after they got you out of there, because I was next on the pecking order. But there was no support, and I put on fucking weight like a motherfucker. I got up to 340 pounds.
Oh my God!
Right, like you want to talk about a fat cop out of fucking shape? I was the epitome of a fat cop out of shape. But I think I still have uniform pants upstairs that are just like size 42 waist.
Oh my God!
Like, dude, it was disgusting. And struggled. I got back down to like 250. Went back up because of bad command staff at a different department during COVID, and was back up at 320. Went to another department, and all of a sudden, dude, like within 2 months, 320 to 240.
Stress.
It's awesome.
Stress.
Dude,
People don't get the stress of this.
Stress does so much, and how it plays with your mental health. It destroys.
You're in Illinois, middle of winter, February, blizzard, and you're all by yourself in your squad car. What's the stress like? How do you dwell on shit? Does it fuck with your head?
Oh yeah, dude, you're sitting there and you're like, I got nothing to do. There's no calls. It's
Well,
middle of
no,
winter.
you got something to do because your command staff will send you a message that says foot patrol.
Oh yes. Oh God. Yeah.
Have you
owe me
seen
a
it
foot-
outside?
Yeah. You owe me a foot patrol right now. There's 6 inches of snow and it's still coming down and it's negative 20 at 2:00 in the morning. Like, we're not looking at some safety risks, like black ice I'm going to slip on. Like, you just want me to go do a foot patrol to do a foot patrol when it's negative something out degrees. All right, I'll get out of the warm squad car and I'll go walk around. But I walk around for what? Service calls? I get it, dude. You got a burglary call? Yes. Get my ass out of the freezing squad car. I'm going to go walk around the building. Make sure that the doors aren't fucking jimmied open. They aren't forced open. None of that shit. Broken windows, whatever. Yes, I'll walk around the building. 100% every time. Never going to deny that. But, it's... fuck, man. Like, just sitting there and dwelling on that. Yeah, okay, fine. I'll go do it.
Do you ever relive that? Do you ever... I was... had a conversation with somebody a couple months ago, and it was the first time ever in 10 years that I'm on the phone with her and I'm fucking, it all comes out. And I'm crying. I'm like, I have not processed this in 10 fucking years. What they did, how helpless I felt, all of this. I will still have nightmares every now and then where I'm back at my age, I'm 50 and I'm new and I'm on FTO and it's the two of them and I'm trying to win their approval. And I'll wake up and go, how fucking pathetic and sadistic is that I still want to win their fucking approval. I have nightmares about it still, 10 years later.
So I haven't had nightmares of that. Thank God. But the torture of being known as the next guy on the pecking order to get the shit, right? And just so everybody understands that's listening to this is the body cam ship landed and our commander, one of our commanders, instantly targeted. He was a canine handler, dog taken away, suspended for 30 days.
Without pay.
Without pay. Again, one of my very close friends. Financially, I tried to keep him afloat and help him out the best I could. He's since paid me back and all that other shit, but he was put in a really, really bad spot.
They threatened him. They threatened
to kill his dog.
We'll put the dog down. It's our property.
Right. It's our property. I'll put the canine down. If we're gonna kennel him at the canine facility.
They wouldn't let him. Just so people get, this man was a canine handler, had his dog for 9 years, and they kenneled the dog for 30 fucking days. They would not let him have the dog.
The dog went through
stress. The dog was chewing on itself, matted hair.
Claws came out, hair fell out. Blade, oh man, just so everybody's aware, Blade would eat you at work. He did not care about his uniform.
We stayed away from him.
That dog tried to eat me so many fucking times, but at that guy's house, he would be the biggest fucking pillow in the world. Scariest German Shepherd I've ever fucking seen. And I've been around all the canines in Lake County. Scariest fucking Shepherd I've ever seen. Biggest fucking pillow that I could lay on at that guy's house, right? But this dog chewed its fur out, ripped its dew claws out, tried to chew out of a cage. And the dog went through the same kind of stressors we went through, emotionally. But he was banned from going to see his dog, which tore him apart. I mean, that was his part.
He lost when we saw him. He's 5'8", 5'9". And when we saw him, he was down to 130 pounds when we saw him.
Yeah. Now, he's a small guy. Like 175 is him at like a really good healthy weight. Him at 130 looked like a skeleton.
Yeah.
Right. That would be like me walking around right now at like 175 pounds. I would look like a freaking riddled little ripped skeleton just needing to eat a cheeseburger, right? But it destroyed him. They ended up threatening to put the dog down, and he resigned. Then you were targeted. Then Segretti was targeted. Then I was next on the pecking order. And next on the pecking order, now my wife is pregnant with our first kid. I hold morals and integrity at the highest level, especially with this career. Do not test my morals. Do not test my integrity. Because I will put my foot down and I will not budge from that. And I will not break for you to do some illegal fucking shady shit. I won't. I hate that fucking shit. Play by the fucking rules. We have rules for a reason. They're called laws and case law. Know your shit, know how to play in it, and fucking work it. If you don't, and you're going to do some fucking illegal shit, get the fuck out. You don't deserve this fucking job, and you don't deserve to serve your communities, right? And that's me being flat out and honest with it. But they came after me, and the first thing that they did is we had a house fire about 3 weeks before Christmas. I think it was 2016.
Had to have been because I was gone.
If you were gone,
November 21st, they suspended me, and then they fired me December 19th.
Okay, so yeah, so it was shortly after you were gone. So morale still fucking tanked like a motherfucker.
Oh, not according to the letter, because that day that I was there, I wrote a letter because I was union president of no confidence. And I remember everybody being too afraid to sign it, so I signed it. Remember,
I was scared as shit to fucking sign that letter. I agreed with it 100%.
And I understood. And remember, I had you film to document me sliding it under his door, and then 7 hours later, I'm suspended. A couple of weeks later, a letter of confidence was written on the current commands and the former command staff.
Yes.
Because everybody thought it was Peachy Keen back then, and it was signed by a bunch of people.
It wasn't signed by me. And let me tell you, the guys that didn't sign that, man, they were blackballed. So, yeah, that did, like, again, the fear of command coming down on you. And, yeah, the vote of no confidence was, you literally had people afraid to sign that letter. Versus, I've seen votes of no confidence go out against a sergeant or against a command staff, lower level command staff, not a deputy chief or a chief. And man, they like people sign left and fucking right.
We thought we set it up perfectly for the number 2 there. We didn't want to believe he was a part of it, and we thought that if we could just expose how horrible the chief was, the deputy chief would finally get what he deserved, which was to lead the department, because back then he was a fucking hero. He was a person that we cared about, and that turned out to be not true.
Yeah. So this house fire happens, right? Me and the cop that got the slap on the hand for the juvenile, we were grabbing coffee. We started at 5 a.m., so we were up at Dunkin' in Round Lake Beach grabbing coffee, probably at like 6:30 in the morning, right? Got all morning checks in and whatever. We were grabbing a donut and coffee, typical cop shit, right? And we get a call for a house fire. So we fucking hauled ass. Got there, beat fire there, got out and started walking around. People screaming, everybody's out of the house, but yeah, I'm walking around the house, and I hit the backside, seaside of the house, and there's smoke. So I have a degree in fire science. I have a 40-hour course in arson investigation. So I know, not a fireman, just so everybody's aware, they're gonna fucking knock me for the fireside stuff. But I chose the wrong profession. I'm not a fireman. I'm not a fucking lazy boy. But I learned in those classes signs of what a flashover, a backdraft, burn patterns, all this shit for investigative purposes, and fire purposes on what to look for and what you see. And the back window was just puffing this black smoke, heavy black smoke, just puffing, suck it right back in. I'm like, oh fuck, dude, that house is gonna fucking flash over. Come around the corner to the B side of the house, the side door that led to the kitchen. The battalion chief's first on scene for the fire department. And he's got the screen door open. He's about to open the door, and I fucking tackle the shit out of him because I already put over the air that it's going to flash. And I tackle him, and right as the door fucking opens, house goes. When I say the house goes, dude, that hit over 1,000 degrees. The whole house flashed over. They took a defensive stance, had to knock everything down from the outside. The stainless steel refrigerator in that kitchen melted to the fucking floor. Jeez. That's how hot it was, right? Stainless steel refrigerator melts down to like fucking just to the floor. That's how hot that fucking room was. So it ends up being a 4-year-old playing, 4 or 5-year-old playing with a lighter because dad was a smoker. Started the drapes on fire. Total fucking accident, right? House was up, whatever. There's a women's group in Grays Lake that gave a check to the family, but they came to the PD to have us give it to them on their behalf. So I get called in, and record says, hey, you have this. Can you contact the family since you're the detective still? This is right before I resigned as a detective and went back to patrol. I resigned 2016, December 31st of 2016. I resigned. I said, January 1, put me back on the road. I resigned as a detective. And so it's right before all this. I'm going through all this. I call the family and I go, hey, here's the check. All they want in response is a thank you letter, and this is what we got for the kids. The $500 check, get the kids Christmas presents, clothes, whatever. The house is a total fucking loss, right? Fast forward a couple months. George Falinko finds me, pulls me into his office, which you and I have both been in, and it's a shit feeling. So the way to describe it is the worst domestic violence cycle with that man. One day...
We knew what gaslighting was before gaslighting was a term.
Oh my God, dude, yeah. One day he's this fucking saint and loves you and he'll fucking kiss your ass for all the hard work you've done. And the next day you're just getting beaten to a fucking bloody pulp. Well, I'm going to write you up for this and fuck you for this and you're a piece of shit for not doing that or whatever. And it's just, you're riding this fucking violent wave of up and downs. But I get pulled into his office and he goes, you have 2 weeks. For what? What the fuck are you talking about? I have 2 weeks. You got 2 weeks or Major Crimes is going to come here and arrest you. Arrest me for fucking what? What the fuck did I do? Like, I just want to be like, fuck you, dude. What did I do? Right? What did I do to deserve anything? Fuck you and fuck you for coming after my integrity. Like, what did I do? He goes, theft over. Theft over $500? For what? I'm going to take for what? He goes, you stole the check from the lady from the women's group from Grays Lake. Oh, I did I? Subpoena my fucking bank records, motherfucker. Subpoena it. I didn't fucking take shit. Why would I take $500 to put my ass in fucking prison and lose my career over $500 fucking dollars? You got dudes planting fucking weed on people that you got looking the other fucking way at this fucking police department. And you're saying I stole fucking $500? Fuck you. 2 weeks goes by and he comes back. He goes, tomorrow morning, Friday morning, major crimes can be here and they're going to fucking come to arrest you.
I never heard any of this. This is insane.
Oh, yeah.
This is insane.
So he came at me.
During the 2 weeks, that you're dealing with this.
Oh, dude, I fucking wanted to shit my brains out. I told my wife all this shit. And there's a whole bunch of gameplay that comes right after this too. So he comes at me, he goes, this is a Thursday. He goes, Friday morning, when you come in for shit, major crimes are gonna be here and they're gonna arrest you. I was like, bring it, bro. Bring it. Put me in the fucking bracelets, dude. I dare you. I dare you to put me in those bracelets because I didn't fucking take shit, motherfucker. And I'm sorry, like I'm getting real worked up on this one, man. Like
it's emotional. People don't get it. People have no idea what we went through. And the problem is we're not the only agency
this
in the
hair
country.
is gone because of that motherfucker. Right?
It's a fucking joke.
I used to have lovely locks, just not as white as yours.
People don't get it. This is what happens with small departments in America. If he had something on you, they wouldn't have told you. They would have arrested you. But he spends 2 weeks fucking torturing you. It's torture by telling you that shit.
Yeah. So, you're sitting there, you're eating this for 2 weeks, and you're like, I didn't do fucking shit wrong. I gave her the fucking check in the recorded lobby, in front of the records bitch, who's so close to that man.
I heard she got screwed over too.
She did. But you know what? She played both sides, whatever. She was just as vindictive as him, so fuck Lori. Yeah, that's her first name. I don't give a shit. Fuck her. I don't care. If she hears this, I don't fucking care.
Doesn't it suck? And I don't mean to interrupt you because I've never heard this. You get to a point where you're so emotionally abused by the very same people that are supposed to have your back. And people will never understand it. They don't get that there's no blue brotherhood. They don't get that you take this and it forms you into something that is indescribable in this profession. Oh, you're just bitter and jaded, but you have no idea. No fucking clue.
You have no fucking clue. Like, I feel for all of you that are listening to this, that have been through what you and I have been through. I feel for you. Because it's emotionally damning and it destroys you and rips you apart. And every person that looks at a cop or a fireman or any first responder for that matter, that you have no soul. You're dark. You're bitter. You hate things. You're not the same person you were when you started 10 years ago. You're always angry. Where you turn into the alcohol, where you turn into the abuser of narcotics, because you're chasing pills or whatever. A lot of that comes from not us dealing with the public. Some of what we see with the public, the kid that gets thrown in the fucking boiling water, the housewife that just gets beaten to a bloody pulp, the shootings that we've been to, just massacres, the violence that just Chicago sees, and those cops have to go see the violence alone that they have to see on them, right? That's a portion of it. But command staff, man, like if you have bad command staff, it fucking destroys you as a person, your career. It drives you down this deep dark hole, man.
No scene I've ever seen has ever compared to the emotional fucked up stress I've ever gotten at the hands of command staff.
No, and we're gonna hit some stuff on some mental health stuff because a big part of my career now is peer support and getting people help. First responders, getting military, cops, fire, nursing, EMS, dispatch. Don't leave the dispatchers out because they get some real shit. But I'm all about getting peer support for them. And we'll get to that. But they Yeah, dude, the command stuff it will fucking blacken your soul. And it will drive you down a path. It'll ruin marriages. It'll ruin relationships with your kids, your friends, your coworkers. Um, I've seen so many cops just going down COVID's path with command staffs leave this career field. And dude, we are hurting so bad for people. And there are so many guys that come in and they see shit and they're like, fuck this, I'm out. And it's all command driven. It's all command driven. Where I'm at now, they're fun fucking. And when I say unfucking, man, we are going down a path of just unfucking decades of not updating policies, of piss poor fucking management, of, oh, well, this is what it was, and we're just going to keep going down this path because we've set this precedent. No, motherfucker, you're not. You're really not. Because law says we can't fucking do this shit anymore. And we can't have this fucking hillbilly fucking brotherly fucking rub elbows and look the other fucking way for you to make you fucking feel better and get you through the shit that you did illegally. Dude, yeah, it's that shit just fucking tears shit apart. But I'm at a department now where we're totally combating that, fixing that.
You're at a stage. You're at a stage now to mentor. You're at a stage now where guys are going to hear, and you set up the last 90 minutes of baptism through fire. Well, sadly, I've only gotten it a few times, maybe 5 or 6 times. And I don't like it, but at the same time, I gloat to it, where I'll get the guys who DM me, and they've spent months as trolls in my comment section shitting all over me. And then years later, they'll go, can I talk to you? Something's happened in my department, and they got it. I'm like, oh, it's your turn. Yeah, I'm sorry. Well, fuck you. And a couple of them I've said, fuck you, haha. And the other couple of I've kind of allowed my ego to get set aside. Unless guys go through that, they're not going to know. How do you prep? Because it's going to happen. You can be gold. Was I golden boy with the department?
You and I were both the golden boys.
And how bad did we get it?
Oh man! So to finish out this bullshit with the money, right?
That's right.
Show you how it went was I got a hold of the lady that I gave the check to. And, he told me tomorrow they're fucking coming for you. Braggart, fuck you, sir.
I can't imagine that.
Right. So I'm like, all right, fine. I got you. Call this lady. Finally, she picks up. Hey, it's Officer Lyons with Round Lake Park PD. Blah, 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 blah. That card and check I gave you for the kids. Whatever happened with it? Oh my God. We've been going through so much. The house burned down. No shit. That, they sent us back, return to sender in the mail. I sent it to the wrong address. So I got to return to sender. I just haven't contacted them. I have it right here. This is what we bought the kids. X, Y, and Z and clothes and toys and whatever. I'm like, hold on the phone 1 second. How many of you motherfuckers that are listening are going to go walk into your chief's office and kick the fucking door open and walk up while he's on the phone and hang up the fucking phone? I did that. And he looked at me like I was fucking, who the fuck are you to do this? So I walk in there, click. I don't give a fuck that you're on the phone. By the way, here's the lady. Can you explain to my chief exactly what the fuck you just told me? Oh, yeah, okay. Are we good now? You done with your bullshit? So fuck you, sir. Thank you. And I walked out. Nothing ever came of it. Fast forward a couple months later. Hey, we're going to make you a firearms instructor. We're going to send you to firearms instructor school.
Something you'd been talking about for years that they kept dangling over your fucking head. Yep.
Now, I was already a firearms instructor. Yep. I was just not a certified instructor under the state of Illinois to teach cops. I was already working under another firearms instructor, had certifications, and was traveling. I traveled all over the country to teach. I've been West Coast. I've been in Colorado, Wyoming, you name it. I traveled to teach for this guy. Was one of his adjuncts. Learned a lot. But we're going to send you to firearms instructor school. But here's the kicker: you can't leave the department, and you got to drop the lawsuit. Well, I mean, like, fuck, man, you already came after me once. Like, I've got a wife. I'm about to have my first kid. Back my head, I'm fucking leaving this fucking department, but I'm going to go to firearms instructor school before I fucking leave, right? So, yeah, I was like, yeah, I won't leave the fucking department. Fuck you. Yeah, I left. But I went through firearms instructor school. I ended up top 3 in the class, and had a great time on it. Great school, FBI firearms instructor school. It was a good school. I think there's better ones out there, but yeah, good school. But then following that, shortly after, we had a DUA check for well-being call came out in Saddlebrook. Unknown time frame on when this person went down, but we haven't talked to them in 3 or 4 days. One of my field training officers, Randy, said, if there's a check for well-being, you go code. All right, okay. I went code. Folenko came on the air because it was on days, and he waved Wayman. And yeah, fuck that guy. But waved Wayman from going. And I get down there, and I see the body down, walking around the house looking through the windows. See the body down back of the house. Run up to the front door because it's a screen door and it's a glass paned front door. Pop the panes, reach in, unlock, make entry. Person down, exigency, right? Went there, and yeah, she was DOA, rigor, all this shit. He came down, notified her. Chief came down, waited for the coroner, all this shit. She had a heart attack or whatever. She just died of old age. But a couple weeks later, he comes up to me. He's like, I'm writing you up, and I'm going to suspend you. For fucking what? He goes, you want code to that call check for well-being DOA. What? He goes, yeah. You know, I already talked to Randy, and Randy said he never taught you that shit. Because I was like, bullshit, dude. Like, Randy fucking taught me to do that in fucking field training. And I've been doing that my entire fucking career at this point. And I'm at, 3.5 years at this point. He's like, no, I talked to Randy. He didn't fucking do that. So Randy came in that night. And I was like, hey, man, I got a question for you. The fucking Folenko call you and talk to you about going code to a check for well-being call and like how we're not supposed to fucking do that? And he's like, no. I'm like, piece of shit. So yeah, he tried coming after me for that. I was like, you do that, dude, I'm gonna fucking drop a fucking grievance so hard up your fucking ass. At this point, you're gone. I'm president of the fucking union. I'm like, I'll drop this fucking, fuck you, dude. I'll drop this fucking grievance right up your ass. We have dropped so many grievances between you and I at that PD for guys, and they just fucking thrown away. Never fucking went anywhere. Union never stepped the fuck in, never even got half the grievances. And they never got fucking taken care of.
Nope.
But yeah, that was that, man. Like that, they went after me twice, trying to suspend me, trying to fire me. Yeah, that was deep dark. That was 4.5 years, my first 4.5 years of my career.
And if you were like me and you left law enforcement, would you be bitter and vocal and jaded? Because I didn't hear about half the stuff that you went through after I left. I told you we haven't spoken really that much since then. But
yeah, dude, we haven't talked about shit. You know, I think we saw each other passing a couple times, a couple different gyms in the area.
Yes, yeah, Lifetime Fitness.
Lifetime, and then Buddy had that gym off of Dundee or whatever, closed during COVID. Had all that green equipment and shit.
Oh, barracks, yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I think we ran into each other there. But outside of that, like we we haven't talked or anything. Yeah, that was my 4.5 years in Round Lake Park.
You went through the same shit. The same shit.
And if I walked away from law enforcement, man, like, fuck this career. Like, just leaving there. Just fuck this career. Fuck law enforcement. Like, if this is how this shit is, fuck this shit. I wouldn't fucking do this job. There's so much negative at that point in my career that outweighs the good. You know, we're supposed to be this righteous people that we hold ourselves to a higher standard. And,
do we? Do we?
No.
See, here's the deal. You came in. You're the in-between. My generation is the last generation of the cop that worked before body cameras. We had just gotten body cameras in 2015, right before, I'll be like late 2015 before they happened. We did the job the right way. I say all the time, if TikTok was a thing when I was on duty, I would be the biggest fucking TikTok clown on the planet. I would have been. There's no question. But you're in that middle because you're at the part of that. I think right around 2020 is when shit started changing in law enforcement, and at this point, you've got 6 years experience. Now you're a part of it. You're one of the old guys who come from the last generation of real police, as far as I'm fucking concerned. Now you're swimming in the shit with people who just don't understand. And you're carrying a level of abuse that people just will never comprehend who never worked in it. How do you balance this shit? How are you a cop today?
It's hard. It's hard to be a cop today. It's super hard because, dude, you were at the stage when this stuff started with the body cam. Give me 1 second. My dog's losing his shit. I gotta let him outside.
Go on.
Just 2 seconds, dude.
While we're talking that, while he's taking a break, guys, don't forget, check out, let me pull it up over here, patreon.com. We do every first Thursday of the month. Let me pull it up for you. We do a town hall meeting. Do I have it somewhere? I don't have it somewhere. Yeah. Town hall meeting the first Thursday of every month. I don't care if you are anti-police, if you are pro-police, whatever it is, your views, 100% go and subscribe to Cop Talk Live over on Patreon. Check out Cop Talk Live over on coptalklive.org, our website. And don't forget, we're live every Wednesdays. We normally take your calls. But go ahead. Being a cop today, you came from exposure, being trained by us old guys. Now you're the old guy in a world of insane. You are now, here's what you're now you're balancing. You're balancing the public. You're balancing the command staff. And you are balancing some of the worst coworkers and backup on the fucking planet.
So, yes. And God, yes. So a lot of balance comes out of doing this job. Going from what I was, I left Round Lake Park for a very, very, very tiny agency. And I won't say the agency because I'm back with the agency. But I left there, and when I take a pay cut, I took a $40,000 pay cut. Because the amount of overtime and shit that we worked at Round Lake Park, like I started making $47,000 a year as a starting cop for Round Lake Park. And my first year of work with the academy, field training, and then clearing field training in like July or August through December, I cleared my first big job outside of the military, cleared $90K. And we go another 4.5 years. I never cleared 100, but every year I cleared mid-high 90s with the amount of overtime shit that we did. And I started at $47,000 a year. That's not take home. That's gross pay. $47,000 a year. Making dick as a cop.
It's like $600 every 2 weeks.
I know. Like,
Oh yeah.
But but that's what you and I were making, right? I think they brought you in a little bit higher on the lateral stuff.
Nope, they didn't. I found that out. Just more lies. I came in an entry. I remember it was Birch. Birch looks right at me and goes, they were going to put me in at the third tier. And he goes, no, we can't do it. Then when Chicago Bob comes in, they put him at the third tier. And I went,
oh, they put him at the top.
Oh, I was like, wow, you just said. Yeah.
No, they put Chicago Bob right at the top pay, bro. They paid him at the fucking top. And we had 11 steps to get up to fucking top pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
7 years to get there.
Yeah. Or some shit like that. Yeah. It bend you over. And there's no loop for that. Just bend over and fucking take it. But yeah, so I got there, I left, went to a small agency that I'm back at. Took a massive pay cut. Insurance was shit, couldn't get shit done. And I'm sure there's going to be guys listening from my agency because they know I was going to be doing this with you.
Yeah,
whether it's going to be earlier today or right now.
They're like, you got to go out with that guy. He's such a loud. I'll go fuck your mother.
Yeah, well, they're not going to like me, but you know, I don't fucking care. Fuck it. Like my chief knows I'm on this, and he's like, whatever, just don't say what agency you're at. But yeah, I went there, fucking struggled like a motherfucker, saw some good shit, did some good shit. 14 guns, 9 months. We're thoroughfare for traffic from Milwaukee to Chicago to Milwaukee, where I'm at. So the majority of shit that we see in town is pass through shit, drugs, any kind of narcotics, weapons trafficking, weapons use. We are stuck between violent communities where I'm at now and where I was leaving Round Lake Park. But I got blackballed leaving Round Lake Park, and like, you're good to go, hiring you for Buffalo Grove, which would have been a fucking fantastic department to work for, right? They're a great department, fantastic department. I'm just going to work there. And then all of a sudden they came in, they looked at my personnel file for 7.5 hours with the chief. And you've already gotten this letter, and you've gotten both detectives that are doing your background saying you're good to fucking go, man.
Do you think they made stuff up about you?
Oh yeah.
People, I got to get it on record, and people know that I was fired over a text message, say photographs. Yep. And I said,
so that text message, right? If I can speak on that.
Of course, yeah.
That text message you sent me on my personal cell phone, not my detective cell phone, that same picture of that lady.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
And I was in grand jury, and I looked at whoever was running grand jury, probably Scheller, and said, "Hey man, I gotta bounce. I gotta pay this, right? Can we get me through like next, please?" Got me through, and I fucking bounced out to the scene with you, and yeah, that whole thing, that whole, they never came after my cell phone. What to my personal cell phone?
You got Falenko's second cell phone that's got hundreds of pictures of dead bodies. But my point being is, when I got his
cell phone, dude, and his tablet and all the other fucking shit from major crimes that he showed us, he's such a fucking piece of shit, backstabber.
Anyway, it's not just me. Anyways, when I got after I was fired, I actually got my disciplinary record sent to me, and there was a letter that was dated September of 2016. So I was suspended in October. Suspended November 21st, I believe, and then terminated December 19th. I was offered that Loudermilk hearing where it's like, I said, what is that? They said, you can go up and plead your case before the chief of police. I said, fuck him, fire me. But in my jacket, there was a disciplinary write-up, not signed by me, of sexual harassment against the only female cop that we had there. So I'm already gone. And I went and I brought it up.
You mean the one that tried to fuck everybody in the department? You and I probably one of 4 people that turned her fucking down.
So I brought up at the deposition, I said, I want this on record. Why was I disciplined and terminated for a text message, but I wasn't terminated for a more serious offense, which is sexual harassment? And he's right there looking at me. And I go, can you explain to me why I have never seen this document that I'm being accused of sexual harassment in September? That leaves you the rest of October to investigate and November till I'm gone to investigate. Nothing's ever done about it, but you're terminating me on a text message. He said nothing. So I'm wondering if they cooked the books and they made shit up about you that turned Buffalo Grove off, because that's what they did. They took 3 weeks of me being gone was on suspension to make shit up and put in my jacket.
So, yes, I can assume that is, again, it's an assumption. We don't have facts on it. I play on a very factual basis with my career. I have to look at things objectively, especially after my injury and everything that happened in November of 23. But we'll get to that later. But I don't have the facts on that. I can assume that, yes, that led to it is the 7 hour. Because, dude, I came in and they were still fucking there. And you are not allowed to be at the front of the PD. Now, just so everybody's aware, the front of the PD was an old pet store from the 50s. Then it was a add-on of 3 or 4 garage bays. And then a double wide trailer in the back half of the PD that I literally put my body armor down on the floor to take a shit, and it went through the fucking floor. Okay? I'm not fucking joking. My shit went through the fucking floor, literally my shit. Because that's how fucking piece of shit this double wide trailer is. Which they're still in that PD. But yeah, they were up front, and I was told you're not allowed to be in the fucking PD. You're not allowed to go anywhere up front. So I couldn't even put my lunch in a fucking refrigerator. Right? Because our refrigerator was across from the chief's fucking door. In the kitchen, which we couldn't fucking go to. So they left, and then 3 or 4 weeks later, I was like, dude, when am I gonna get my notice? And I get this notice from Buffalo Grove for 3 weeks later saying, you have been terminated from our hiring process for blah 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 blah. 1 second, let me let my dog in before he gets sprayed by a skunk. I'll be right back. 2 seconds.
Don't forget coptalklive.org. That's coptalklive.org. And you're listening to Officer Matt Lyons, who's a coworker of mine. It's not the direction that I thought we'd go, but it's where we're going, and we're corroborating a lot of the horrible trauma that we went through when we worked in the police department. And it's not just exclusive to ours. That's the big issue, is a lot of you guys do not understand that these smaller agencies throughout the nation, they fuck with their cops on levels people don't understand.
Yeah. So, sorry guys. I've got a border collie who's needy. So went through that, tried to leave again. Dude, I was agency after agency after agency after agency after agency. And they were like, nope. Fox Lake got an interview, placed number 2 on their list for their new hire, but I was a lateral. So I got brought in for an interview. Went through that 3 fucking hours now. 3 fucking hours. Right. And the whole thing, dude, the chief was in there. It was 4 detectives, the deputy chief, all these people going through this. Right. I got a buddy who's there. He's been there for a year and a half. He's one of their prodigy childs, ends up being a detective for them and then leaves and actually ends up going to Buffalo Grove. But he ends up being this fucking fantastic detective for them. They listen to him. So they're like, all right, cool. So this dude, because of George.
Yes.
Because of George, I walk in. Oh, you're one of George's boys.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Let's get that fucking straight. I work for George Folenko because he's my chief of police. Do not label me as one of George's boys. George's boys are the fucking major crimes fucking idiots that he was in charge of that fucking suck that fucking dick dry. It's going to get colorful. Sorry. If you don't like it too fucking bad. So, but yeah, it's they went 3 hours and they took a break and they came back in. They're like, all right, we'll continue this. I'm like, the interrogation you're giving me? Fuck off. I'm done. Just send me the fucking letter that you're not gonna fucking hire me. Just stop. I'm not gonna sit here for another
punished.
3 hours.
You got punished because of it. We all thought, people don't understand, prior to 2016, we thought we worked for the greatest chief on the planet.
Well,
it was right after Glenowitz.
yes and no. Because I came in at a weird time in 2014 because he was still in charge of major crimes. And him being in charge of major crimes, him is George Folenko, so everybody's aware. He was in charge of Lake County Major Crimes Task Force. You never fucking saw him.
No.
And the person who ran that department through 2016 was Dan Birch, the deputy chief. Never once. I mean, you see him once a month, maybe. You see the chief once a month. And he pokes at it and everything good. All right, cool. See you. Hey, DC, we've got a narcotics search warrant for X, Y, and Z. It's going to be Coke X. There's going to be a safe that we're hitting.
Here's what you got. Here's what you got. Okay.
Okay.
That was it.
Go for it. We just need you to approve overtime so we can go get the fucking warrant. And you and I would go get the warrant, or like Tony or whatever. We'd all go get the fucking warrant. We go stack up and.
These stories are bringing back so much shit because even he, Birch, he would be part of these warrant searches. And we did great, honest police work. We really did.
I remember prying that fucking
Safe.
big ass fucking safe open in the fucking garage and hammering the shit out of it and breaking the shit because the dude wouldn't give us a combo. We had the fucking warrant for the safe. Yeah, it's like shit like that, but he'd sign off on it. And he'd sign off on it. And he'd sign off on it. And dude, we were doing warrants.
That's why it hurt so much with what he did. I didn't want to believe George was who he was until he showed us. But the betrayal and the hurt of Birch hurt more than anything, because we thought we can trust you and it was almost like an older brother. You're going to protect us from this man. And in return, we're going to follow you into fucking hell when you take over. And no,
yeah. Now, I saw that happen to you, to Joey, and to Tony.
Because he turned Lepe. Again, people understand that. It was the whole Lepe was going to be charged with watching porn on his department cell phone. And then...
He's not lying. That is as accurate as can be.
I try to explain this to somebody where... And this is how manipulative people are not. This is Matt and I having a conversation. People are listening to it. But at the time, we had a commander who we thought that was our boy, and we did whatever. And he was in the lawsuit with us. He knew about all this stuff was going on. And to get to him, they pulled both commanders' department cell phones
and my detective phone.
Okay. And they found that Hector Lepe, who was our commander, our direct supervisor, was watching pornography on his cell phone. So they called, there was going to be a department disciplinary hearing. And the day, I have the email still. The Monday before his hearing, the chief of police changed the policy that he had sole discretion of discipline in the department, removing it from the police fire board. And I put the email out. I put the email out to the lawyer, and I said, immediate response needed. Lepe is about to get disciplined at the sole discretion. Well, what happened is Lepe goes in. Then the next thing you know, Lepe's writing us up. Lepe's disciplining us. Lepe drops.
No love, no lube.
Lepe drops out. He drops out of the lawsuit.
Shove this right up your ass.
I gave him. I'll never forget the last words I said to him is, I'm at my personal car, and he's taking my gun, he's taking my ID, he's taking my badge. And I look at him and I go, they're going to fuck with you next. This is not over. And that was it. Never talked to him again.
I've talked to him twice. Pulled him over once. Gave him a warning, and then ran into him maybe twice, 2 or 3 times after that. But ran into him here and there. I talked to him for just a little bit, nothing crazy, and I don't want to get personal.
No, he and Tony were the closest. They're brothers.
Yes,
and that relationship got destroyed.
That they are so far apart from each other. They don't talk to each other. I think they've seen each other in a couple staff like chiefs meetings because they went in place of the chief to go handle some other shit. Because the chief can just send people to chiefs meetings. As a detective, I ended up at one for the A Way Out program that has failed fucking miserably. But yeah, as a detective, 2.5 years in my career. Yeah, I was a detective in 2.5 years.
Well, look at the current deputy chief of Round Lake Park. Woman didn't even complete FTO.
Well, I didn't want to be, and it just so happened to be because the other person was going to be that person who dropped a sexual harassment claim against you. That she literally was trying to fuck everybody in the department. Dude, and I've seen her so many times recently. And she just like looks at me and turns the other cheek and won't even say hi. And I don't really give a flying fuck. You could drive off a fucking cliff. I could give two fucks what happens to you. Just stop spreading your legs and fucking every person in the fucking county. Okay? Because that's all. It's just a cum dumpster. That's all you are. But yeah. I really don't fucking care if she hears it because it's a fucking fact, dude. You were fucking like 4 Lake County deputies at the same fucking time. So, fuck it. But yeah, it's, man, we went down some fucking weird rabbit hole.
It's people don't get what it's like to be a cop. They don't understand how the sausage is fucking made.
Yeah. So it took me a hot minute to leave, Round Lake Park. Again, what's the agency I'm at currently? They've since made changes, and I ended up going back to them, but had to leave them after 9 months and went to Grays Lake. Grays Lake was a interesting department and had its own fucking issues.
That's kind of where I want to go into this, and this is one of the longest ones we've ever done. But this is where I want, because we're going to have.
We're going to go a long time. Well, I'm sorry.
No,
we're going to do a part 2.
I'm old. Yes, we're going to do a part 2. This is the direction I want to go into. Because I want to feed into the next time we have you on. You think that you make it out of the woods, and you go through the worst baptism by fire ever, and then you go into another department that is, I believe they're accredited, aren't they?
Oh yeah, they're accredited.
They were run. I knew a bunch of guys from Grays Lake. I thought they were class acts, all this stuff. You go through something traumatic there. Did you let your guard down? This is the direction I want to go. Did you let your guard down thinking, I'm out of the woods. I'm finally where I belong. I can relax. I've got people who will have my back, who care about me. And did you?
No, I'm going to cut you off. The answer right there is no. So there are some good guys at that PD. They are jaded in a way that is hurting them. They're very command staff heavy and very patrol light. They stacked command staff. They got like 5 fucking commanders, 5 sergeants, a DC, a chief. Like it's just stacked, and then your patrol guys are just fucking spread thin. And it might have changed since I left. I was there 2.5 years. But so I'm going to ask you this. Were we ever, other than that point system that we talked about, were we ever forced to do things on shift?
No, it was just we did shit. We knew what to do. I had a system with Joey. And the system I had with Joey was simply between 5 p.m. and 10 p.m. Joey did the traffic so he can get his suspended, his no valids, and I would take the calls. And then 10 p.m. until 3 a.m. before, then 5 p.m. to do my reports, I would do DUIs. That was it. And then all of a sudden it was we want a point system because their justification is we want you to be a more well-rounded officer. And I went, gang specialties not my thing. I have no desire to do it. We had you for that. We had you for that. The other guy who caused the problems left. I would do issues, here and there. We would do a gang detail. We had the ex-Chicago cop who was an ICE guy would come up and he would take credit for our work and bring it back and, go that shit. But, we did fun stuff. We did a lot of warrants, a lot of fucking warrants, a lot of drug shit. But for the most part, when there was nothing on the agenda, I liked keeping drunks off the road and then answering calls. That was it. It was never you have to do this until the point system came into play.
So Gray's Lake was very similar. Now, it's not a quota, but the way that their system worked was it's called a TOPS plan. And their village manager is trying to market this to every motherfucking police department in the world. And it's a computer-driven system dictating how you're going to do your fucking job. And it's an accountability system. So they're on a 12-hour shift, and for 12 hours, minus call volume, you have to do X, Y, and Z, and you have like 10 or 12 categories. So they Gray's Lake also had Haynesville, which was a very, very, very small town, 1,500 people.
The first town in Lake County.
Yes. Yeah. Super, super small. Like you just like Round Lake Park, but shorter. You could spit and you'd be on the other.
Round Lake Park had Haynesville until Round Lake Park pissed off Haynesville and lost that.
It would be George Fulenko that pissed them off. But, yeah. Also, their former chief of police for Haynesville got fired from there. Yeah. But who fucking talks about that shit?
Just me.
But yeah, so Gray's Lake had Haynesville, so it would be like residential patrol, non-residential patrol for Gray's Lake. Same thing for Haynesville. Parking enforcement, your post or what we would call lunch, traffic enforcement, foot patrols, parking, all this random bullshit. You'd have like 10 or 12 categories that you'd have to do. And your sergeant would be the one that would input the numbers that are required for your 2-week pay period that you meet within these things. And you had to meet within a certain standard and not be over and not be under, but fall in a certain range to get as close to 100% per category. So it would be, because they're not a traffic heavy department, your shift, Dom, would get 30 minutes for traffic for a 2-week pay period. You make a 10-minute traffic stop because you're just going to write a warning, you do all your TDS and you cut them loose, right? And that's our profile card for everybody that doesn't understand what a TDS is. That's your traffic stop profile card. So we're not profiling people and we're sending statistics back to the state saying we're just not stopping everybody because they're black or they're Hispanic and blah, 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 blah. Right? Which was mandated by Vernon Hills or Highland Park.
Highland Park, and it turned out to be a fraud. It turned out to be that the traffic stop racial profiling was from Highland Park. There was a complaint that it was too many people were being stopped that were black, and it was or Hispanic. This was in 2003, I think it was.
Yeah.
And then it turned out
it's only going to last 6 months.
Oh, I remember that. I was with the beach when this happened, and oh my God, it was like a verbal warning traffic stop disappeared. No, there was no longer verbal warnings. It used to be you go up to somebody, hey, do me a favor, keep it all right, just go whatever. All right, see you later. And go, no, that was 9272 108. That was it. You just go back to work.
Yep.
But it would turn out to be a disgruntled ex-cop, I guess, who lied about it and made the whole thing up.
And yeah, we're 22 years later and we're still stuck on doing this shit. Yep. Which, whatever, dude. We do what we do and we knock it out and we're on our. I still do a verbal warning, have to do the sheet and fucking send it off. But whatever. So you make the stop though, and you're on it for 10 minutes, and I back you for 10 minutes. There's 20 minutes of our traffic time. Gone. Gone. So can you imagine you and I on a DUI? Where a DUI, an average DUI takes you, an hour and a half to 2 hours just to get through fields, all the processing, everything else. So There's 4 hours for 2. Now, if I put 3 on, there's 6 hours of that 30 minutes gone. Your sergeant is fucking up your ass so fucking fast. What the fuck, motherfuckers? You're way over on traffic. Now, I would get text messages on shift being like, hey, Lions, you got to do a minute 49 of a foot patrol and then 2 minutes and 19 seconds of parking enforcement.
Oh, my God.
At the end of the pay period, right? So they were on the True 12, so every other weekend off. So it's either you're landing on a Wednesday, Thursday, or you're landing on a Sunday. So it's either you're really working a weekend or you're working in the middle of the week. And either way, those 2 or 3 days, you're catching that. And the sergeant's saying, hey, you got to fucking do this, da, 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 and sending you a text message. And you're like, all right, whatever. Now, the kicker to it, though, is you being my sergeant. And dude, this is going to cause so much controversy. You get a fucking up to a $5,000 bonus for how close you are per pay period on these fucking stats.
How is that not a fucking quota system? How? You're incentivizing your brass to manipulate police. Oh my God, the public should be outraged over that.
Now, I hope somebody from fucking Grays Lake is listening to this and they actually fucking go after the fucking village manager.
Remember,
by the way, is the highest paid village manager in the fucking state. The dude motherfucker's making over $300,000 a year without his fucking bonus. Yeah. Oh yeah. Fucking shove that one up your ass.
And I'm the problem in law enforcement.
Yeah. Right. We're just gonna pay fucking village managers and all this other fucking top brass to fucking. Yeah. Versus I work for a freaking super, super, super small department that has no fucking money, so my chief doesn't make fucking shit. But I'm also backed by my chief, and he actually has balls for it. But yeah, so these guys are making this bonus up to $5,000 for 26 weeks of pay periods that they have to do this for. Now, version 1 would adjust for call volume. So if you had high call volume, those numbers would drop. If you had low call volume, those numbers would go up, right? Version 2.0 came out in the middle of COVID, which this is what drove me fucking nuts. The call volume that would go up or down didn't matter. The hard number mattered that you, the sergeant, would put in. So I would be getting a call because I'd be on a domestic physical one. So we're down on paper fucking in an arrest doing all this shit because this dude just beat the shit out of his wife and wife fucking stabbed the husband or whatever. And we're doing this shit. Get the fuck off the domestic and put yourself on a fucking residential patrol for Grays Lake because we need those numbers. Those numbers are what are fucking important because you're the brass man fucking on your knees with those knee pads, Sarge. I got you.
God.
Okay. But I got a fucking domestic I have to process, but those numbers are what matter. I got a fucking guy that's got to go to fucking bond court in the morning and whatever.
Holy shit. Okay, so talk about this. How did people, this is insane. How does that not fuck you up?
So here's what I'm going to tell people, the young cops that I hope are listening to this. Do what I did, come in proactive, want to fucking work, want to fucking learn, go do traffic stops. Have a heart and understand that you need to have empathy for the people in your community. Right? Have that. Understand that. But go knock down fucking cars. Because you learn so much on a traffic stop. It's not just learning how to do a traffic stop. You learn body language. You learn how people move. You understand what's going on. You find dope. You find guns. You find sex offenders. You find people on warrants, right? Versus your service calls are just service calls and it's mundane and they're almost all the same, meeting in together, the talk process, all that stuff. Versus a traffic stop, they can go from grandma, who's perfectly fine, to the most irate fucking person who hates police and is just having a bad fucking day and is just going to scream at you, right? But that gives you ways to understand how people are reacting and how to react and do things. Have empathy for the people so they don't need the ticket and let them go, right? If they deserve the ticket, they deserve the ticket. Who's Fridays with Frank? He does this shit.
Don't start me with him. He's such a
you know what?
pussy.
Okay.
That's my personal problem. That's all.
Whatever. all I'm saying is he does his traffic stuff. He knocks it down. He talks to people, right? And you see different reactions with people, right? That's the avenue I'm going with. I'm not going to go any deeper with it. But you see how he gets different reactions with people and how he has to escalate or de-escalates, and he communicates with people, right? And sometimes he has to use force to pull people out of a car. Sometimes he doesn't, right? But he writes them a ticket, or he doesn't write them a ticket, and he decides whatever he's going to do. And he's a traffic cop. That's his sole goal is traffic enforcement, right? With that agency. Good for him, right? That's as far as I'm going with that. But understand that those traffic stops give you a whole variety of different things that you're looking at. The drunks that you're dealing with, or the people that are intoxicated or high, right? How is their body language? What are their eyes doing? What is their body doing? Is their heart beating out of their fucking chest? Is their breathing like that? Or are they just fucking here? Or are they just fucking drenched in fucking sweat? Like I just fucking got out of a pool, or I just got off my fucking rower, like whatever, and I'm doing cardio, and I'm fucking out of shape and fucking dripping sweat everywhere, right? How does that work? So the new cops take that and do that. This system, though, took all of this shit away, and you've got guys that are scared to do their job. You got guys that don't understand case law. You got guys that say, I'm going to sue you, Dominic. And you're just like, oh my God, he's going to sue me. Or I shit you not. One of the guys stopped a gangbanger, DUI. Dude's fucking hammered, Latin King. I'm going to fucking come and kill you, your wife, and your fucking kids. The dude had a fucking aneurysm, fucking had to get committed, and then had to get a psych eval to get his fucking gun back, and they had to fucking put him.
The cop.
Yeah.
I'll give you credit that there was that Latin King who was threatening to kill you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's got a hit on. Yeah. Okay. Again, if you're a gang member and you're still a gang member, you get a hit that comes back when we run your stuff. And it'll tell us what gang you're in. There's certain things we can't just detain you and handcuff you for being a gang member. But it tells us and gives us warnings. Well, there's an attachment to this guy's Latin King hit that he's got a threat to law enforcement. And working for that first agency in Round Lake Park, all this guy did, I'd stopped him a couple times, written him fucking tickets for weed. And local ordinance tickets, like, so here's your parking ticket for $150 for your fucking weed. And I get it, like, weed's legal now in Illinois, blah, 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 blah. At the time, it wasn't. And it was just, here's your fucking ticket, right? I'm not writing you the state ticket. I'm not fucking doing this. But yes, you're a gang member. You're going to get this, right? He's documented Latin King. He's got a fucking crown, like, literally a crown sitting right here on the
I remember him, yeah.
And he's not a Hispanic kid.
No, he's white.
He's whiter than you or me, dude. Like, and he looks like Lurch. He walks like Lurch. He's got this big hunched back, fucking fat, overweight, fucking white boy.
He drew a picture of a pig in a badge and a uniform with your badge number on it. And
correct.
Yeah.
So what happens is he goes and he fucking right across the street from his fucking house. There's a construction sign, and he gets dropped off, and there's fucking camera footage of this. He walks into his garage, grabs a spray paint can, and comes and fucking spray paints a fucking crown on this, and Lurch walks back to his fucking house. So everybody was told, because I was the gang guy, don't fucking touch it. Lions is gonna come in and fucking deal with it on afternoons or midnights, right? Just as soon as he comes in at 5 o'clock. Just leave it alone, Lions will handle it. Well, the wonderful person who did the sexual harassment against you fucking decides, I'm going to have my vagina fly me over there today, and I'm going to go fucking arrest him. And so she does. And she writes him for the criminal damage to property.
God, you hate her more than I do.
Oh, dude, fuck her. She's a cunt. She's a bigger cunt than my mother. Right?
Oh, my God, we both have mom issues, too. I love it.
Oh, yeah.
Mine's dead.
I'll go deeper on that when I got 2 moms. I am adopted, so I have 2 moms. They're not lesbians. But I have 2 moms, and they both hate law enforcement. They both hate my job. They both hate guns. They both hate everything. So I'm the fucking black sheep of two families.
Wait till they die. You'll be liberated. It's great.
Oh. Yeah. Yeah, so she goes and arrests this dude, and she's talking all this shit. I arrested him for criminal damage to property, and go suck a dick, right? Here are your knee pads. Oh, wait, you don't need them. They're calloused enough. So she does all this shit, and then she's got this picture printout from his home screen on his iPhone, and I'm looking at it, and it's a demon, and it shoves a gun in a pig's mouth in a cop uniform, and it's blowing out the back of his fucking head.
And the badge was your number.
And on the arm, there's a badge, and on that badge it says 503, which was my badge number. And it's her and the other day shift guy, one of the guys I went to the academy with, and they're like, "Oh, this is a fucking funny picture." I'm like, took me 2 seconds looking at the picture, 503, whoop, zoomed in on it. I'm like, holy fucking shit, dude. I'm like, they had already cut him loose. He's already fucking released on an I bond at the time, because we don't do that now with the Safety Act. But yeah, so they cut him loose already. And he's gone, but they're showing me all this fucking shit, and they took the screenshot off his phone.
We were looking for him for a while. It was a couple weeks we were looking for him, and we had information that he had a gun on him, was walking on the street. I remember we did a felony stop on him. Yeah.
So yeah, we had a maniac Latin disciple in town that had given us info that this motherfucker was running around with a gun and pointing at me, and it was a black and silver pistol, semi-auto. And that he's brandishing it. He's trying to shoot people, all this other shit with it. Round Lake Beach just so happens to get a call for a guy stealing a fucking kid's bicycle. And it just so happens to be this fucking fat double lard. He goes and steals his fucking bike. And you and I were both fucking looking for this motherfucker, right? The intel we had was good. It was good gang intel. And we were looking for him, trying to get him. Round Lake Beach knocks him down on a fucking bike. He falls off the bike. He's got 2 Molotov cocktails tucked in his fucking back pockets. He gets charged with explosives and all this other fucking shit. And the gun. Defaced serial number, all this other shit. And he does like 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, that was after we stopped him. It was August or September. We stopped him. And that was, and
it's hot as fuck.
Yeah, and Falenko was still, he showed up on scene, which made it very awkward because we're in the lawsuit, he's threatening us, and he's like, "What do you guys have?" And it's like, "Can't fucking tell." Yeah, that was, and we searched that entire, all those bushes, all the areas, see if he pitched the gun somewhere. That's ironic that not too long after that they pinch him for that shit.
Yep. So he did time with that. He got out. He as soon as he cleared parole, he fucking teed off on another King's Head that fucking tried to jump out and snitched and did all this other shit. He was involved in a whole bunch of shootings against the Four Corner Hustlers and all this other shit. Could never tie him to it. And then he gets caught in a undercover investigation selling coke. And they did a whole bunch of search warrants. And on the search warrants, he's doing federal time right now, I believe, for suppressors, full auto guns, bunch of cocaine, all this other shit. So he got some fed time.
But nothing ever happens in the small, safest town in the world that you work at. Nothing ever happens there.
Dude, so I got out of there, and then there was a fucking shooting at a party, over 100 and something rounds shot, 3 or 4 people killed. Like, dude, you go fucking pull up the shit from this weekend from, Baltimore? The gang shooting on the fucking front porch where they're all fucking lighting shit off, and they got the full auto Glocks with the switches on them and all this other shit. Same fucking shit, dude. The call, I was down the street. I was actually working in Grace Lake when this happened. I was at Haynesville in Washington, and I was 25ing with one of the guys from Round Lake, not Round Lake Park. He was just pulling up to come up with me, and I hear on Round Lake's band, because they share the same channel, I got shots fired. All of a sudden, we shot 100 rounds dumped. All these people shot at this party. Grace Lake wouldn't send me.
Of course not.
Of course not. I was 10 seconds down the road. Mm-hmm. Literally 10 seconds down the road. They wouldn't send.
People don't get how you need permission. You could be boarding an agency listening to their radio band, and like the memo I got from Dave Hare, who was my former sergeant for Round Lake Beach, but then he was the chief of police for Round Lake Beach when I was at Round Lake Park. Just get this memo one day, and it wasn't signed, but all it was is, per the chief of police for the Round Lake Beach Police Department, you are no longer allowed to back them up on any calls. And I asked flat out, okay, so if I'm on Haynesville, which shares with them, and one of the Round Lake Beach units gets in a gunfight, I go, I want to know what my option. I put this all in a memo. Never got a response.
I remember this memo because we had a big discussion on this. Was it just you, or was it the entire department?
It was just me. It was specifically just me.
But we had this big conversation about that.
And I said, so if I show up and I get into a gunfight, or he's taking rounds, and I show up, am I going to get sued or terminated? If I don't show up, am I going to get sued or terminated? If I do, it's like, what am I going to do? And they never answered me.
Right.
So
are
people
you
don't
going to
get.
sit there with your thumb up your ass?
People don't get. Here you are.
Get shot?
Here you are, 100 rounds getting shot off at a party that you're less than 30 seconds away from. You can't go to because of office politics.
Yep.
So this is what people don't understand either. So you're whatever, mom and pa Kettle, their daughter goes to a party. She's gunned down at a party and finds out, well, you were a block away, but you didn't respond. You didn't respond. Now all of a sudden that information gets out to the media and they release that. Officer Matt Lyons of the so-and-so police department refuses it. Well, what are you going to say? My command staff said no. Well, then you're going to get all your fellow brothers in blue that oh, I would have done it. I would have gone. Really? Well,
okay.
People don't get this about law enforcement.
Yeah. So I think you bring up a good point. I'm gonna swing to a current topic that just happened at my PD. Right. So what I will give from where I'm at, I am in northeastern Illinois, as far north as I can go because I border Wisconsin. Wisconsin, and this made live on. Was it Live on Patrol now? Mm-hmm. Is what it is. So the video made Live on Patrol from the Wisconsin agents. And I'm in the video twice. And we knew that the car was stolen at gunpoint. So it was an armed robbery, armed vehicular robbery. 2 suspects armed with guns. Fresh steel. Fresh armed robbery that just had occurred, and then they stole the car. So we knew it was fresh. We knew the Wisconsin agency was chasing it, and they had notified us to spike. So being the OIC of the shift, I said, I need that over the air because it was texting back and forth from their command staff. We get the car, we want you to spike. Fine. Tell them that they need to put it over the air because I'm not setting up spikes to spike a car with the 2 of us on and taking the liability on. Yes, liability, something that I didn't understand until recently.
Yeah.
The liability that we will incur for dealing with this. Now, yes, this is a violent, forcible felony, so we can pursue, and they've been authorized to pursue over state lines. Right? Good to go. So, yeah, we set up. When we get notified, though, they are literally like, there. And I'm pointing there, like the next light down, which is a mile and a half at over 100 miles an hour, goes like that. Right. So I get there, I barely have time. I don't even think I got dash cam. I think I had dash cam on, but I didn't get body cam on. But I grabbed the spikes and you see it. There's a Facebook angle from somebody going on Facebook Live, and then there is the dash cam angle. Dash cam angle, you see the car swerve away from my partner, who's actually just over the border in the gas station because he's trying to set up and set to get out to get spikes, and he can't get out fast enough. And I'm already at the back of the car with spikes in hand, and I'm like, and he swerves at me at over 100 miles an hour. Now I shit my pants. Not literally, but I'm like, oh, fuck, I'm going to shit my pants. So I'm like, nope, not throwing spikes. Get out of the way. And he swerves back, loses control. The flock camera has him yawing through, losing control. Goes through an electrical pole. Just loses it, goes through an electrical pole. Takes out the electrical pole. Well, guess who's standing under the fucking electrical lines?
Oh,
me.
God.
I hear, wow. I'm like, oh, fuck, cool. Now it's final destination. It's either that or I'm going to get electrocuted. Great. So they go, whatever. We end up in a foot chase. Now they're running through backyards, right? They get out unscathed at a racket over 100 miles an hour, going through an electrical pole. And they're running through backyards. And being able to articulate there are people out because it's the middle of the day. They're out there watching this. You have 2 armed people unknown if they still have weapons on them or if they're in the car, but they're fleeing from the scene where it just wrecked out. And I have an officer who argues with me after the fact that he used excessive force. I'm sorry, for putting a knee on somebody's back while they're prone to take their ability to move out of the way. And the knee and shin, right? Because everybody talks about Floyd.
Yeah.
Yes, Floyd put his knee on the guy's fucking neck, right? Okay, sure. But when we talk about control tactics and defensive tactics, I want to take a mobility away from you, right? So if I take my knee and shin and place it across your shoulder and drive it down the center of your spine and immobilize you so I cannot have you moving and I take away the mobility of your spine, how is that excessive? And then I put you in handcuffs and then we're done and you get off. Right? And then, yes, guns were pointed at him or whatever, but that's excessive. But if it was my kid, dude, if it was your fucking kid, right? And I hope
This
you're
is
listening.
this is your backup officer doing this shit?
No.
Oh, thank
My
God.
backup officer. So I had one of the guys in custody. My other partner had the other guy at gunpoint. Both of us had him at gunpoint. Both Wisconsin officers took them into custody, and he's bitching about the Wisconsin cop that put his knee on across the shoulder blades. Now this is a night shifter who, you know what, he can go fuck himself. I hope he listens to this because he's so fucking controversial, telling me that you can't arrest somebody for DUI for being in positive physical control of the car while being drunk and smoking weed and drinking in the bed of your fucking pickup truck while it's on, by the way, and the keys are sitting next to you.
You literally can.
Yes, right. But no, there's case law that says you can't do that. Show me the case law. Show me the way that's excessive, whether you're taking it because, well, if it was my kid, dude, motherfucker, if that was your kid, I'd fucking smack you for letting your kid grow up to be like this piece of shit. Right? So fuck you. But yeah, like this is all the shit. And like people talk about not being able to respond or being able to respond because you get the communication done. Right? So that was a neighboring agency coming into our state that communicated this stuff. Now, if they didn't communicate any of that stuff, and I just see their cars ripping past, bye guys, have a nice day.
Yep.
I can't. What am I supposed to do? I don't know the circumstances. What are you chasing for? Wisconsin can chase for shit, right? They can chase for fucking speed. It's like you look at like Arkansas or whatever.
Georgia, yeah.
Georgia, man, like you got a fucking plate light out and they'll fucking chase you for it if you fucking go. Like Wisconsin's not as loose as that, but it's loose. They're allowed to pit. They're allowed to box. Shit that we're not allowed to do here. Or at least parts of us are not allowed to do. DuPage and Kane County are going that route now, and they're allowing pitting and shit like that. ISP is allowing some pitting, which is nice to start seeing that coming back, swinging back in our way. But where I'm at, we're not allowed to do any of that shit. But if you come through and you don't notify us, or my neighboring agency has a shooting, they don't notify us, and we're sitting right there on the fucking border, I can't go. Or if I make a stop in their town and I don't request them, half the time they don't even fucking show up. And they know we're in their fucking town. We're on the same radio band. Right? You know we're there. You're listening to us and we're on the same fucking CAD system. You can see it. But they won't go because they're not requested. And that's how a lot of the agencies are. And can it be devastating? Absolutely it can be. Especially like I want to go, like, dude, just a fucking shooting. Like, let me help.
We were sitting at the American Legion, 3 of us, Lepe, Joey, and myself. And we had a kid steal a car from Chicago. Steals a car from Chicago, goes through Lake County, flips it, steals a truck, flies past. An hour beforehand, he flees. Round Lake Park does a traffic stop on him. And right when the cop, I can't remember who else, Round Lake does a traffic stop on him on Washington. And before, I'm sitting over, I was at the Thornton's gas station. And I'm just listening. And all of a sudden you hear, he took off. The car goes past me, 100 miles an hour, east on Washington. Can't do anything about it. Done. Whatever. I'm done. I'm not going to get involved. An hour later, we hear Shane Page from Round Lake, he's only Round Lake Heights at the time. Round Lake Heights. because he's a firefighter and part-time. He gets cornered and he shoots him. He's over the air and we hear CENTCOM shots fired. We look at Lepe, he goes, no, he can't go. The fuck are you talking about? It was ISP was there. He was there. Lepe's
County was there.
Yeah, like, no, can't go. Like,
yep, can't go.
Wow. Nope. Wow. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Yep. No, early in my career, with the park, I was working with Randy. And Round Lake cop, she calls for backup. She got an aggressive subject. Literally, bro, like literally, we are a block and a half out of Round Lake Park's jurisdiction. And I go over there. I call out with it. And as soon as I clear, Uncle Randy gets on the air, 25 with me over at Thornton's. And I get over there. And, so I meet up with him. And, dude, the ass chewing that came out of him. You better fucking ask for permission next time to fucking go. You can't just fucking freelance and go do this fucking shit. I'm like, she literally was a block away. She literally cleared backing me on a traffic stop where I ended up in their jurisdiction where it stopped at. She clears and knocks down another car, and this guy goes violent, and I'm clearing my stop, and I just go.
It blows me away. People, and then you get people. Like, you get the people who are listening. Well, what do you mean you can't go back them up? You can't, because then all of a sudden now you're going to face suspension, discipline, termination for somebody calling out on the radio for help, and you can't go.
Yep.
It shows how petty.
Go back to the school thing that you and I responded to. And you get a day suspension, I get a fucking full write-up that every fucking department that has looked at my personnel file, because it's still in there, laugh. Are you fucking serious? You got this fucking write-up? Yeah, I'm dead fucking serious. And I do it fucking again. And I tell them that to their face. I would do that exact situation over again and not change it in any fucking way. And if you're going to write me up again on it, don't hire me.
They do it. Command staff does it to make sure that you're owned. It's like, how do you do that? How do you do that where, Lyons is on another town, traffic stop, calling for backup, shots fired, and you're going to look at his own and go, no, you can't go. And then do their cocks get hard knowing that I'm going to be in my squad because I got a relationship with you. You're a friend of mine, and you're screaming bloody murder, and now all of a sudden I got to make a choice. Do I go back you up, and there goes my career, it's gone, done? Or do I live with the regret for covering my ass, keeping my career, and something happens to you? They get off on it. They fucking get off on it.
How many guys now? Have you interviewed any guys that responded to Highland Park for the 4th of July?
No.
I can give you right now and just tell you right off the bat. I know at least 5 to 10 guys that got suspended
for answering
for
the
responding.
call.
Yep. Yeah. Fuck you, command. Here we go. Dude, and that was a 10-1 to send everybody, right? That's not a like we're gonna sit here idly. Like everybody's going in, we're gonna call fucking other people when to start covering the road. Like we're gonna send our guys that are on now, and other people can come in and start covering the road. That's just the way it is. And they have hundreds of cops show up, multiple 3-letter agencies, multiple jurisdictions. Chicago showed up, all this shit, and be damned the guys that got fucked by command on that. Be damned on it. Because if that was me, see ya, boss. Write me up. I'm responding. Especially if I'm a neighboring agency. I get it. Like if I'm coming from like where we're at, in like the Round Lake area to that side of the county, it's going to take us a hot minute to get there. Going code, burning those cars up. I'll respond. Even the guys that came out of McHenry County that responded, the guys that came out of Cook County that responded, they fucking tore some shit out of some fucking cars getting up there. I mean, they came in fucking stinking, I'm sure. But they, the command that wrote at least the 5 to 10 guys that I can think of that got written up for it, they said they'd do it again in a heartbeat.
Problem is think about this, in 15 years, the the new idiots that are working, they're going to be the command staff that are making these decisions.
Dude,
It's the most dangerous. In 5 to 10 years will be the most dangerous time to be a cop ever.
Yeah. And the problem with a lot of it is, one, they feed into, I'm going to put the knee pads on. I'm just going to be a yes man and do what command says and try to get promoted. Yeah, in my career, do I want to have stripes on? Yeah, I do. I'm 11 years into my career. I left a department that was ready to put stripes on me. I left a department just now to go where I'm at now. They requested, their command staff, their sergeants, their patrol guys requested that I take the sergeant's ticket to be a sergeant. And they wanted me as a sergeant. And I turned it down. I left. But yeah, I want stripes on, and I'd love to go higher than that. Maybe, who knows? But it's scary because, like, you, with me as a young cop, right? You pushed no case law. Know the law, but then know the case law behind it, right? And the guys and girls that are listening to this, like, if you don't know case law for your state's use of force, not just the federal statutes, Tennessee versus Garner and all that shit, and Graham versus Connor, but I'm talking like your state statute that allows you to use up to deadly force. Right? For Illinois, it's 720 ILCS 7-5. Right? If you don't understand that, in and out, for every cop, not your firearms instructor, not your DT instructors, not your use of force instructors, right? But just the basics of being a cop, and you don't fucking understand that shit, you're doing yourself and everybody else a disservice. Right? And the case law, the case law that they push in the academy, that, it's Tennessee versus Garner or Graham versus Connor. What else is there? What current cases? Like, are you putting out cases to your guys that, hey, this is the current case that just came down on high-risk vehicle stops? Right? Or, hey, this is a case that just came down on using force when we're doing X, Y, and Z and proning somebody out on the ground. Or, just shit like that. And it's like, if you're not up on top of that and you're not understanding it, dude, I am not the guy right now to be giving you the names of the cases, but these are recent ones that I've read. Right? And I'm a high-risk stops instructor, and I'm teaching high-risk stops here in August. And I got guys that are questioning, because we just did a high-risk stop on a stolen car. Right? I found the stolen car, fresh steel, unknown means. I got two passengers out of the passenger side of the car flee, masked, unknown weapons. And I put the driver at gunpoint. And I got one of my guys, the same guy that's bitching about that Wisconsin agency, putting the shin across the small of the back, or the down the spine of the back, and taking that guy into custody, and then just done after that. There were no strikes. There's nothing like that. He just put the leg across him, put him in handcuffs. Why Lions put him at gunpoint? Can't wait to teach the fucking class and why we talk about the unknown, right? And why we are allowed for certain high-risk things to escalate to that point and then de-escalate down.
The prevention. That threat of violence is the prevention. It's just like command presence.
Right. And what was it? The fucking 21-year-old you just fucking posted right before I fucking hopped on and I saw your shit. Yeah. Like, oh my God, and you talked about command presence. I would not fucking listen to that fucking weeby little 21-year-old kid. And he'd probably yell at me in the most high-pitched fucking voice in the world. Like, your balls haven't dropped, dude.
And he's going to be able to use deadly force quicker than everybody else, and he'll be backed up by the court of public opinion.
Yep. But heaven forbid, the guy that's 230 pounds, strongman power lifter,
who's a firearms expert does it, you will be fucking crucified. We're almost at 3 hours. This is probably one of the longest podcasts I've done. We have a lot more to talk about, so we're going to be doing several more parts of this. Let's talk right now. Let's get some housekeeping done. Let's talk about Lions Defense, and let's talk about these programs and the importance of firearms trainings, what you do, how people can wind up getting a hold of you, and let's talk about that for a second.
Sure. So 2020, middle of COVID, I decided I took a break from teaching outside of law enforcement for firearms with somebody else, and I said I'm going to do it myself. So I started Lions Defense. My last name is spelled Lyons. Lions Defense is spelled Li, just like the animal, Lions. So I started Lions Defense. You can find it at lionsdefense.com. There's only a couple classes up there because I took an injury in 2023 that took me out for about a year and a half. So I'm minimal classes for 2025, but if you're looking for classes, you can contact me through the website, where you can do the email. It's lions.defense.training@gmail.com. Any of the social platforms, two social platforms, Facebook and Instagram. You can hit me up on either of those, send me some DMs. But I do fundamentals of pistol marksmanship for any of the civilians that are out there. I do an 8-hour pistol or rifle fundamentals course. Rifles, I will teach any kind of platform on the rifle that is a semi-auto platform, right? So if you run a bullpup, you run an AR, you run an AK style platform, any of those styles, I will teach it. I run a 2-day rifle course. I run multiple 2-day and 3-day pistol courses, and red dot, specifically red dot pistol instruction, which is an 8-hour or a 16-hour course. I dive into it. The defensive pistol 1, defensive pistol 2, we talk heavily on our abilities to use force, and use it properly, and when we can and can't use it. That's for law enforcement, and that is for civilians. I am an ILSB approved firearms instructor for the state of Illinois, and I am an FBI certified firearms instructor. So we talk heavily in that stuff. My Pistol 3 course, a 3-day course, that brings in tactical medicine, in with some pistol shooting. There will be a combination course next year, pistol rifle, with TACMed. And when I'm talking about TACMed, I'm talking about TCCC, Tactical Casualty Combat Care. And then I'm also talking about TECC, Tactical Emergency Combat Casualty Care. So when we're talking about those 2 courses, I am a certified instructor in both of those courses as well. So I dive heavily into the tactical medicine world. From when I was in the Army, I was cross-trained as a paramedic and a medic in my unit. And then when I got out, I had to redo all my medic stuff, kind of let that go to the wayside. And now I'm back with a training company also called Within Thin Lines. But yeah, so Lions Defense is the firearm side of the house, and pretty active with it. I teach open courses for law enforcement, closed courses for law enforcement, closed courses for military, and open courses for civilians.
Let's talk about one last thing too, and we will get into the next time, is a couple of months ago, I put up a video talking about the stress. There were 4 officers that committed suicide from one agency. And I immediately blame command staff. And I always put my stuff out there where I say, if you need to talk about something, give me a call. I'm not an expert on trauma and stress. It's a passion of yours. Dealing with PTSD, trauma, stress. I think people can hear it was completely an unscripted direction the way I wanted to go tonight. And it was a reliving of a lot of the shit on humor, reliving a lot of the shit on pain, on trauma. It does still fuck me up like crazy. You dealt with all this, and to hear what you went through, it's like I didn't know what you went through after I left. I had no idea. And for me, it's like, my God, I'm not alone. Somebody fucking saw what I went through it, and they understand it. That applies to so many people across the board. Are you available to talk to other people who go through this shit? And people will never, everybody thinks of cops, the traumas from the shootings and the dead kids and this, that.
Yeah.
It's so much deeper than that. Talk about what you're passionate about with advocating for trauma with law enforcement.
So, and to keep some of this brief, because like you said, we've been going almost 3 hours. Again, I'm just gonna touch on November 15th of 2023. I was ambushed in a vehicular attack and injured pretty severely. Was out of work for a while. Fought my way back. People said, "Dude, stop doing your fucking job." But when I came to, yes, when I say I came to, I was out fucking cold in the squad car.
And we need to not downplay this for a second. You were the target of a man who wanted to kill a cop.
Yes. He's currently sitting in jail. We're awaiting trial, so there's limited information that I can give about the case because I don't want to fuck up anything with the case, especially being the victim of it. But he did get out of the car, say, "I want to kill a cop." There's additional information that I won't talk about, that I can't talk about. But I was found immediately by, thank God, a nurse that was right behind me that almost ran into the squad car after it was hit at over 80 miles an hour head on. I was unconscious. I was in the passenger seat. Most of us don't wear fucking seatbelts. Wear your fucking seatbelt, please, for the love of fucking God. The head injury that I incurred was severe, and I still to this day, and I am not a religious person, don't understand why I'm here or how I survived. But I came to in the hospital at about 2 a.m. This crash occurred at 4 p.m. So at 2 a.m., I came out of my concussive state. Now, I don't remember the day before. I don't remember that day. I remember briefly waking up at 2 a.m. and a nurse telling me, "Shut the fuck up here, read this piece of paper because you're on repeat, which I was for several days. And I don't remember my 4 days in the hospital. Like, dude, if you showed up, I wouldn't fucking have known you would have been there. And I was pretty messed up. But I remember coming home and still having this question, like, why am I here? Why does the department not doing a funeral? Why do my wife and kids still have a husband and a father? Why am I here? And I didn't ask for the chaplain to be sent. And I, again, will say fuck off to that guy too. He's almost as bad as George Floyd. But he shows up at my house, talks to me for about 15 minutes and says, "Well, the reason you're here is God." And I said, "Well, I'm not a God-going person. I'm not. If you are, and I know you're a spiritual person.
That's not my business.
But
it's
it's a you thing. It's not a me thing.
100%.
I want people to understand that. Like, I'm not driving. God's not real. For me, it's just not my path. Right? Spiritually, that part of my spiritual journey, that's not it. But going through all that and having somebody say the reason you're here is because of God, and that's not the answer I was looking for. I was like, dude, I need to talk to somebody to help me out here. Now, I saw a lot of trauma when I was in the military, and this caused much more trauma. And we can continue down the path of some bad command staff and good command staff with this event. But I asked for help and it was fucking shot down. Wow. Now, I work for another company. I'm their director of training for law enforcement, and I sit on their board of directors for Within Thin Lines. I'd mentioned them just previously. Our whole thing is trauma medicine. We teach all the tactical medicine side of the world. We're one of 3 companies that can teach all 4 tiers of the new TCCC model across the country to civilians. Outside of that, it is strictly a military program. And we are certified instructors in all those tiers to teach that. And but one of our things that we drive home on is mental health. And we talk about being peer supporters. So the majority of our staff and our cadre within Thin Lines are peer supporters. We've gone through peer support programs that are certified through NAEMT. I've also gone through additional other peer support programs. I'm a peer support instructor. I teach peer support and mental health resilience. And I work with several clinicians within Lake County to assist other officers in help. I've dealt with PTS related issues. I've dealt with anxiety. I've dealt with depression. I've dealt with all of this stuff. And I'm not going to hide it. It's out there. I'll put it out there. Yes, I have dealt with it. And talking to people helps. Whether it's peer support here, I just, Dom, you just sent somebody to me, 2 days ago?
Yeah.
And she's not local here in Illinois. She's on the other side of the country, West Coast. But I used my contacts and I got her some support, and hopefully it's doing well. And she says she's going to reach back out and let me know. But again, I won't go any deeper than that, right? Because as a peer supporter, your stuff is confidential. That's as far as I'm going to say about what you gave me, is that person needed help, and I got that person help. And yes, I dropped it. It was a her. But outside of that, I'm not giving any other information. It is confidential. That if you want to talk to somebody, we do that. And within Thin Lines, we are military, law enforcement, dispatch, canine handlers, fire, EMS, right? We have nursing on staff. So if you're a nurse and you want to talk to a nurse, if you're a cop, you want to talk to a cop. I've spent 8 hours on the phone getting somebody help down in Louisiana that was a cop until I can get him to a treatment center in Texas.
Wow.
Right. So our conversations can be 5 minutes. Our conversations can be an hour. Our conversations can be through text, through DMs, whatever you want. But I am here to help. Right. I'm here to listen. I'm here to tell you that you're not alone, and you can get through the stuff you're going through. Do not be part of the culture where we need to shut up, suck it up, and move on. It is okay to talk to somebody. Absolutely 100% okay to talk to somebody. Whether it's a peer supporter like myself or you talk to a therapist, right? And it's confidential. You don't have to tell anybody you're talking to anybody. Yeah, I see a therapist, and I talk to a therapist, and I need it. And it's helping not only with what I'm going through with the trauma that I had from November of 23, but it's also helping with family stuff, which is affected by parts of that injury.
Yeah.
So if you want to get a hold of us, staywtl.com, or you can search within Thin Lines on your Google search. If you want to talk to us, you can do that. Again, my information that I gave out, lions.defense.training@gmail.com. My website, lionsdefense.com. My cell number's on there. You hit me up on my email, I'll respond. Any DMs on Facebook or Instagram, hit me up. I am a peer supporter, and I will help you out, and we'll get you the help you need.
It's profound. I mean, this is it's important. People just don't get it, and you couldn't talk about it before. You couldn't, and they always offered bullshit. Oh, you saw a dead kid? Yeah, we'll do a debriefing that lasts for 20 minutes and whatnot.
So real quick, I know we've been going long. I want to touch on this. Everybody bitches about the Safety Act, right? I bitch about the Safety Act. I hate the Safety Act. And for you guys that don't know that, that's Illinois' idea of taking California, New York, Maryland, Massachusetts, all these other fucking states, threw all this fucking liberal shit together and fucking threw shit at the wall. It never fucking worked. And Illinois said, fuck it, we're going to take all of it and throw it at the fucking wall, and it's going to fucking work. Fuck you. There are a lot of parts of it that are bad, right? There's a lot of parts of it that are mediocre. One thing that they started to get right with in the Safety Act is the mental health portion. They started because they recommended certain things happen. You talk to a CISM, right? And you get a critical incident debrief, not the tactical debriefs that we've done, but an actual incident debrief with a therapist and a CISM present, right? Somebody who understands how to go through this and direct it in the right way. They usually last about an hour. I didn't get that till over a year post-incident, which is required under the Safety Act. But again, this is the thing where command is wearing the brass, right? And they know all the fucking shit because one of them's a fucking attorney who's a deputy chief. Who, if I see him, I want to fucking deck. And it's not Birch. Who didn't know any of this shit. But it's your cop that actually fucking sits here and reads the Safety Act, all 700 plus fucking pages of it, over and over and over, and all the trailer bills that came with it, over and over and over, and said, well, no, you can't do this. Or, hey, you're required to do this. Or, hey, we're supposed to get mental health checks once a year paid by you, the agency. That's completely confidential. To say, hey, you're showing signs of depression or anxiety or PTS related stuff because the kid that you just saw that got shot, or the kid that got thrown in the fucking boiling water, or the fucking triple homicide you walk into, whatever it is, you're required, your department's required in Illinois to send you that. Right? It's not just a suggestion. They're required to send you that to make sure that you get taken care of. And then the follow-ups that come with that should not be at your expense and not go through your insurance. It should go through the department's insurance. If you require a follow-up and you want to fucking continue to talk to somebody, do it. If you want to reach out to me on training on mental health resilience, we do it through Within Thin Lines. And we'll talk about EAP plans and how they're garbage. We'll talk about peer support programs and how they actually work. We'll talk to you on how to build one. Right? So you're not alone. You actually have an agency that can do peer support, or you can have another agency that's neighboring that can reach out and help you. So I'm big on this. Like my crash drove me down this additional path. And as much as my wife says I do too much fucking work for law enforcement,
you have so many angles for the stress you have and the trauma. You have the on-duty trauma. You've got the brass trauma. You've got it all. You've got it.
Yeah, it's there. I have experience, like we just talked about, for 3 hours, man. Like
this is very therapeutic, and it's very cathartic to a degree, and it's like it needs to be talked about.
Yeah. So again, guys, don't let this just fall on deaf ears, please. I can't stress it enough. It's made my career leaps and bounds better by just talking and understanding this. And like, let me just put it this way. My boss for Within Thin Lines, love him to death. Great. While I was hurt, said, take this and then take the instructor course. Then it was take the mental health resilience officer course. Online. You're stuck at home. You can't do shit. Your leg's all fucked up. You're not moving. Just fucking do this on the laptop and then take the instructor course. I was like, dude, fuck this shit. This is going to be fucking bullshit. Right? And dude, the getting through the bullshit of it, because yeah, it's an online course and online courses suck. But I got through it. I was like, okay, yeah, I knew most of that shit. But then when I did the instructor course, it opened up my mind more and wanted to give more. And then I started teaching. And I've been all over the country teaching this shit. I've flown all over the fucking country to teach it. And I fucking love it, dude. Like, and you see the guys when you actually go through, guys and girls, right? You go through and I teach this shit. And we go through as a group and we teach it. And we watch you break down and guys are fucking crying. And then we got to break out and have individual peer sessions. Right? And people come forward and they're like, hey man, you got time to talk? Well, yeah, I got a flight in about 4 hours, but yeah, like, let's go in a room, let's go talk. Right? And they just spill their shit, man. And then they come out and they feel better. Right? But it's not an instant fix. It's not an instant fix, right? Peer support is not a one and done thing. So yeah, I've seen a lot in a small amount of time in a lot of small agencies. And when I say small agencies, nothing over 40. Nothing over 40 people for a department. Small agencies. Smallest agency, probably the park, when we were at minimum staffing at like, what, 6 people? Maybe, if we were lucky. But yeah, all the way up to, I think, just under 40 people. So I've seen it. I've seen the worst of it, especially when it comes to mental health side and getting ignored, which will be a whole different story at a different time. So,
Matt Lyons, police officer, firearms expert, damn good partner, and friend. This was cathartic, and I hope people enjoyed it. Hope they learned something off of this. We have to have many more conversations with you because we have a lot of directions to go. But this was something, guys. Lyons Defense. While you were talking, I did pull up the website so they could see it. I pulled up your Instagram so they could see it. Get a hold of this man. There's only 2 people that I really recommend, especially in the state of Illinois, for firearms, and Matt is one of them. It's as simple as that. Do not forget, coptalklive.org. Subscribe for your daily newsletters on articles, law enforcement tactics, body cam reviews, all that kind of stuff. And then Patreon, Cop Talk Live. We have our town hall on the first Thursday of every month, of which Matt will be a speaker for that. We'll go schedule him on one of those. And we do our Sunday roll calls for all the content you guys want me to cover for the week. Other than that, guys, have a great damn night. Be safe out there, and hope you learned something about law enforcement tonight, other than Izzo didn't lie about shit. And that makes me happy. All right, guys, be safe out there. See you on the next video.
Thanks, guys.